Now listening to The Joint Committee.
Going non-start.
Just cough right
Yeah.
in the mic. This is the Joint Committee.
Welcome, stoners! Yes, the word stoner is a unisex to the Joint Committee sessions. I'm one of your hosts, Lou PINO, along with EASTCOASTERDAM and Mr. Bond 420, sticking his nose in bubble rosin. You got it on your nose? Huh?
Damn, we just got that
Oh
one.
yeah, I heard you say bubble rosin.
That one piece and it's dirty.
Oh, man, so what's happening, yo? It's July.
Little tiny knob down the bottom. It's good.
Today is
Huh?
It's got one little tiny burble of fucking reclaim down there. It's fine.
It's not bad, right?
Nope. You need to save that. Put it in a jar. Put it on your burns.
I don't burn myself. Jinx. No, I'm gonna get burned.
lip burn.
Yeah, so we're just fucking
Yeah.
finishing down this joint. About to take a couple
Happy
dabs.
July, everybody. Happy summertime.
Almost the 4th tomorrow.
What's the fourth again?
The 4th of July. We did have a nice session that we couldn't release due to some crazy
Technical difficulties.
Actually, no.
International.
International difficulties.
International shit affected our session.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're international, bitch.
That's pretty,
It's
like,
true. That is what happened.
Those are facts.
So, an international incident did not allow us to release an interview that we had, which was amazing. We had a lot of great information, so we got to kind of make up with it. But
yeah. It's too bad we can't bleep out every time he says the company name.
dude, I was thinking about it. It
And-
would have taken me so
I
fucking
know.
long.
I knew.
dude.
I know. That's why I didn't even suggest it because I'm like, yeah.
No, I thought about it a lot of times. Me and Frank thought about it like a lot. It's like, fuck it, we'll just we'll put like "Weemer," like every time he says it, or like some kind of like "Weemer."
Yeah, Three Stooges.
Just have that sound effect ready.
A little quack.
Yeah, but it was about LEDs and about the technology and the ever-changing technology with all that shit and how
I guess we can kind of we can just repeat some of the same information we ended up learning. There's nothing.
I don't remember it.
Oh shit.
I don't remember.
So what I remember
I
was
just don't remember.
that no company knows exactly what spectrum is the right one. I definitely that whole replacement
Yeah.
I remember the replacement has to deal with lumens, and lumens is what the human eye can actually see.
No,
That's-
par.
No. Lumens is what we can see. Par is what the plant can see, as far as or feel. So lumens is only what we can see. As far as I guess when you're talking about like a light to plug into the room, I guess that's only really that matters. Par doesn't matter like that. But when you're talking about plants, par is what matters.
Well,
From-
and the lumens too, but yeah.
That's I don't think he. I don't. That, from what I remember, I don't think it matters. It's just the lumens was
Well, they
like
matter, or
a
else
replacement
we wouldn't-
smoke screen.
We wouldn't be growing with like high pressure sodium and stuff. Know what I mean?
Wait, I think
they're
we're
both
just-
needed either way.
I think it's because
Like if you go out to the sun with a meter, it's gonna give you a par meter and a fucking lumens meter.
right.
That's what you should do.
What?
Get a meter. Go outside on a fucking sunny, hot fucking day, 12 o'clock, and use that meter and see what the range is, and try and copy it on your little fucking thing, your little
Yeah.
tablet.
I don't have one of those
Meter.
meter things. But yeah, I've thought about investing and all that stuff. But I've just.
Wait, there's got to
I've
be
been
like.
busy,
You don't
so.
think like there's like a NASA like some some information
We're
out there?
fucking NASA.
Huh?
We're the ones that they're gonna be copying.
Space Force.
No, they don't. Because, like that dude said, this has never been officially documented. The whole knowing which cannabis spectrum is, because they don't allow the funding for all the testing and
Right.
all the main companies that he was talking about, like the real, like the GE and the big light
Philips
companies,
and all
yeah, the
stuff,
Philips,
right.
all that shit.
Right,
like,
right.
They're the ones that could produce the absolute best. I think they even have the best, most efficient grow lights, but they're ridiculous money.
Yep.
They're like it's crazy thousands of dollars for one unit, and it's just because it's it is what it is. But I don't think like he said, there's no specific spectrum that any company is putting out that is verified as being the one. They all have claims.
A lot of claims.
But I mean that was news to me. I
and
mean
we claim.
it shouldn't have been news to me, because if you really think about it, yeah, obviously no one has the actual data, because no one can fund any actual science,
right,
because it's not actually legal. But we're in that spoiled mindset where you just think everything's fucking. You got results and tests on everything. Just Google it. What is it? Google it. What's the answer?
No, it can't be. Just think about it. We're growing it under fucking street lamps. That's what we're growing it under street lamps.
Right, but
it's because those have the most lumens, I think.
But that's the thing, though. If lumens only matter for our visual eyes, like what we can see, that's what the measurement lumen ends up being, not specifically what the plant actually can get and receive. That's a totally different.
Well, you're right, but it still needs the lumens too.
Yeah. But I'm saying
just because we can't see the par. I mean, I don't know.
Won't it equal out the same if you have low lumens? The par is gonna be low, so either way, you need the high numbers of each.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying that you don't need lumens, because it's all part of it anyway. But
what I mean.
I think it's the wrong measurement that we're looking at when we're trying to figure out what spectrum we need for the light.
Right.
Plant.
Right.
Yeah, it's
But anyways, yeah, that was the episode that we had.
Damn, see
Ellie
what I'm saying? It was
Dis.
so look at us, like we're like
Ellie
yo, it was like 3 hours.
It was good. It was a good conversation, because for all the doubters of LEDs, which totally understandable. There's no shame in having doubt in that type of stuff. I mean,
shame.
Ooh, bling, bling, bling.
I'm walking naked over here, getting eggs thrown at me. But I don't know.
They work. I mean, it's light.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I've grown a badass plant under a fucking construction light.
It's
Are you passing that?
yeah.
It is what it is.
It definitely works, and he was describing.
You shut your mouth.
Shit.
He was breaking down why there's so many different costs differentials between all these different companies and different levels of products because of the newest technology and the newest parts, and how a lot of companies just start to buy the trickle downs of the used to be greatest parts. And so the waters are definitely very muddy, because the average person gets an LED unit and it's just a box with a switch on it. They don't see the inside, and they don't know what the fuck's going on inside. They don't know what any of that shit is inside. It's like the average person looking at a computer. You just go, oh, okay, this one's supposed to work good, or it doesn't work good, but you don't know the processors and shit, all that shit that you were just talking about when you're talking about building a computer. So I think it's more confusing to people than it is actually the technology being shit. I just think
confusing on their part too, on not just ours, as far as understanding on them just trying to figure it out.
No. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, if I think we talked about this, and I hate to sound, I'm only repeating myself to you guys, but when you're a certain grower, meaning especially if you're old school or you've been doing this for a long time, LED wasn't even around. So you know how to grow under HPS circumstances. The conditions of your room has always been based off of your HPS lighting. So
you just they're bringing in VBD and all that other
That's
shit.
right. That was a good chunk of the good chunk of the interview, which is no important one. Continue.
No, so when you have that mastered, and now you're just looking at like, oh, I just want to bring my electricity bill down. I know how to grow plants. You think you can do everything. So now you have a different goal in mind, so you just start doing your old routines because you were getting all your other goals accomplished with the routines you were running, but you're finding that you're having a lot of difficulty, and you immediately blame the lights because that's the only thing you've changed. And it makes sense because you're like, well, this is the one factor that I've thrown into the equation, and it's fucking everything up. They suck. I get that, but if you really take the time and break it down, obviously it's not just that being the factor. It's not using that properly in your setup. So it just, the whole style of growing is different. The whole understanding of what you have to do is different. The plants react different. So, there's definitely got to be a learning curve expected when you throw that into your room. If you're a professional, not a professional, but you're a pro grower with HPS and you know what the fuck you're doing in and out, you could grow pounds without even thinking. That's great. But
I think you had it pretty much down pat, or getting to it in your last setup you had with some. You had a couple LEDs. You had some fucking
the mix, the
mix,
HPS is,
you know what I mean? That's where it's at.
But even that, like that's a whole nother style of growing compared to just HPS, compared to just LED. Because now you got both in the mix, so now you have to balance out both of those factors in your room, which changes your leaf temperatures and the evaporation rates in your mediums. All that shit is because of what your lights are doing. So it's a game. It's a balancing act of figuring out all that shit.
Maybe that's a good way too to actually, if you're gonna end up actually trying to transition from the HPS to the LEDs, start doing mix
LEDs.
and start leaning more towards the LEDs, so you actually can start, your normal routine that you're used to with everything. You know exactly how it is with HPS. You start kind
slowly
of
back shit.
adding a little bit, because I think he said a little bit more. He ends up with LEDs. They tend to be a little bit more cow mag. I think he said.
Well, I find the LEDs crank up the CalMag needs in the plants. The plants just really like.
I think they do a lot more photosynthesis stuff. With
there's.
It's faster than.
So that's maybe the food intake might end up being more, maybe end up being
is
less. The water
I
ends up being, the evaporation ends up being faster. Everything.
And you can tell because
your
they're
whole
vigorous.
equation just changed. So it's not just, it is just the lights, but you have to adjust your equation when you're working with them.
Yeah, and that also means adjusting how you feed, when you feed, what you're putting in your feed, because you can't, like I said, you can't go into the same routines with your HPS regimens. Meaning,
well, you gotta. That's the base for everybody to start at. Because
Yeah, where they
unless you just start with no water. I mean, no nothing. You know what I mean? And see what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And it will probably take two or three cycles. Because just kind of to dial it in.
I think would be able
like
to,
the first one, oh man, it was horrible. Second one, it's getting better. Third one,
I guess because you got to look at the finished product.
Right.
At the end of the day.
So, and then you make your adjustments, and you're already a little bit into the second.
Now you're a year.
Yeah, it takes a good that's exactly. It took me
it
took me a year to figure out the first real LED setup I had, and I'm fucking happy. Like I took a few hits while I was doing it. There's no question about that. I could have just kept cranking out what I was doing before, but I've definitely diversified my growing skills. I'm able to adapt a little bit quicker to plants, and I just I enjoyed the challenge because it had been almost a decade of just doing the routine. So throwing that, that was kind of like my own little college course that I had for myself of putting in, running with it, and knowing how much money those lights all cost, and going, okay, like I hope it's fucking worth it. You better make it worth it, because goddamn,
components are expensive.
Yeah,
it's funny. The other day, I turn around and I see my ballast blinking, and I only run 2 600s, two small veg, small flower. You've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I look, it's blinking. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go in the room, lights off. I'm like, okay, well, I need a new light. So I go get a new light, new bulb, put it in. No, ballast is junk. So I'm like, great. But luckily, I have about 6 1,000 spare ballasts. So I looked for the one that was the least amount of amps on startup, and I think it was like 8.6, which was pretty low. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try it. So I put the 1,000 in, put the new 1,000 bulb in. Boom! Sweet. Now I got a 1,000 and a 600 in there. I'm like, cool, this should be a little jump, so we'll see, Everything's reacting fine. Awesome, actually. And so now I have more watts, right? It's the middle of July, or the beginning of July. My room, no AC, just a dehumidifier, and 2 can fans. 81 degrees. Wow. 67 humidity.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm killing it, dog.
Yeah, it's like, what I gotta do?
No AC. I'm fucking loving it. Well, I mean, I have ACs going in my house, but for my house and my room. And when guests stay over in those rooms, but Yeah, I was scared, but we'll see. The plants are fucking killing it right now. They're fucking frosty as fuck. So I literally could probably wash them right now.
Wow.
I was laughing.
What's the earliest you've ever washed?
Well, the space bomb's quick, so probably like 56 days. Something
Yeah.
like that, 50 days, maybe.
That's dude. There's a fucking sky jar finishes quick too. Like the same time, like as like a purple plant. The same time as a
I
purple
want to
plant.
smoke it actually.
Like any of like the Buckeyes or anything that's purple that ends up always ends up finishing really quick. It finished the same fucking time. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow.
It's nice.
Nice. Looks good.
Yeah, so I also changed up.
Awesome.
I
No
started.
CO2, heavy, very little leaf.
I started
Big.
making the
Nice.
super soil again that I used to make because I got fucking wicked lazy, and just
I'll roll one.
I kind of always been that one to
Watch out, that splits.
do the least amount of, or spend the least amount of money, use the smallest pot possible, that type of shit, because I like succeeding with it.
You know, you should fucking grow the mantis. That shit is a low rider and it's thick, so I think you would really fucking love it.
I have the Mr. E, actually.
Like,
room's
it's really-
pretty much full of it right now.
Yes,
It's funny.
It's
I
such a
fed it
good-
the other day,
She's so good.
and
she is.
she wasn't drooping or anything. She was still happy, but I fed everything with a little bit of some root stuff from micro, whatever it is.
Microbizing.
I forget what it is. Anyways, I just gave it some of that little root booster shit, and
What's up? Grinder?
I went in an hour later. She was literally
Look at my papers.
standing straight up. Like if you touched her, it would have cut you.
Really?
Same thing with the space bomb. I was like, damn, you guys are fucking standing proud right now. I have a couple pictures I'll show you.
Nice.
What do you not like, the blunts? Or do you not like the weed?
What?
I asked him to roll up that stuff. you
No,
brought.
just
Oh.
the next
Getting
up.
ready?
Yeah,
No,
for the next one.
We're heavy lung
I didn't know
motherfuckers
if
here,
you
you
hit
know.
this. That's why.
Oh,
You haven't passed it.
honest to
You haven't
God.
passed it again.
I'm Bogart, am I?
No, I passed it back to him because your hands are full.
Oh, that's what it was. I got it.
I've been wearing the Space Force shirt, right?
I'm gonna actually.
No
I got
bullshit.
service.
You can ask my wife. I get comments every
bet.
fucking where I go.
Yeah.
Yo, that shirt's fucking sweet. Where'd you get that? Nice shirt, brother. Oh, I like your shirt. That's funny.
You know what you're
Everywhere
say?
I go.
Say it. Jointcommittee.com. Jointcommittee says.
I wish I could just be like link in bio, click and hit a button, but I don't feel like talking to these people. So.
I know it's tough. That type of shit is tough, especially like the personal interaction stuff.
Or especially when you're really fucking baked and someone just comes up to you and you're not
Yeah,
ready for it, and they're
that's-
like, "Oh, nice shirt," and then they disappear, and you're like, "Huh?" And you look, "Oh yeah." Huh. But yeah, it's
that'd be funny.
it's funny. I haven't had a shirt like that in years, where people like more than one person, wherever I go, is like, "Oh shit, look at that shirt."
Dude, the second it's like make a shirt out of it. I was like, yeah.
Yo, I saw a
so
sponsored link come through my Instagram today of like veterans, some actual veteran thing, like made a Space Force shirt. It's USSF, United States Space Force, United States Space Force.
Say that 5 times fast.
This is FS.
Now is that real?
Yeah.
Or was that just like a
No, it's
fucking?
legit. It's happening.
It's
Yeah.
a-
Did you hear what he said to the general? He looked back at the general. and he's like,
"Can you make that happen?"
"Can you make this happen as fast as possible?"
But is it? I know, but he
But
said,
you
doesn't he say?
guarantee all of a sudden in the Area 51, a couple of garage doors opened. And
What about
some
Area
shit popped up.
52 and all them crazy
Right-
ones that we
right
never
down
even
the
hear
road?
about?
Well, right.
The
Well,
ones
there's
you don't.
supposedly a base only a couple miles southwest of Area 51 in that next little mountain range. And it's fucked because if you look at it on Google, on the west side of the mountain range, it looks a little weird on the map.
Oh yeah, that's almost all the maps. Any military installation.
Yeah.
No. I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
it's visible. It just looks a little sus.
Not only that, but on Google Maps, any high,
Well,
like
I go
a
on
high
my maps,
security.
and I can look right at Area 51. right at it. It's not blurred out, nothing. You could see everything.
It's just buildings. You don't know how deep they might have dug.
Yeah.
No, exactly. You can see the buildings, you can see the airstrips, you can see the roads going to it, and all that bullshit. It's pretty crazy.
But
I could give a fuck less what they. Go ahead.
I
have
do.
a-
I care.
Have,
You know why?
have
Because-
something because I just know in the back of my head that it's just like back in the day. All of a sudden, when we wanted to spy on the Russians, this thing came out of nowhere. Well, guess what? This is the new era. We want to go to space for real and fuck around in space. All of a sudden, there's gonna be some fucking UFO type of shit that dudes already know how to fucking pilot, and we're gonna be out in space fucking around. I guarantee it.
I think it's just on like just.
When you think about the level of technology where it's 2000 almost 19 now.
dude, I remember watching Terminator and be like,
Yeah.
oh man, imagine when
Yeah.
it's the year 2000 because they had like the fucking robot wars
Yeah.
and shit, and you're
I
like,
know.
oh, that's coming.
Yeah. Well, it is AI. That's the AI you want to watch out for.
You ever heard of the paperclip theory with AI?
No.
So the paperclip theory
I've
is
heard of it, but not the actual theory. I've heard of the paperclip theory.
it's basically like if you were to program a computer to make paperclips, they will destroy the earth. It will do everything in its possible means to get all of the resources that it needs. It'll do
yeah.
it'll consume everything
Yeah.
and just off making paperclips.
Well, and like when we were saying in the text that we were sending back and forth about the aliens, like really seriously, who the fuck's up there poking around already, right?
Mm.
So the thing is,
Sorry, I thought your hands were full. That's why I'm not passing to you. I'm not. My bad.
No.
that's what they're out there, and they're coming, and I firmly believe it, or something's coming, whether it be that comet or not comet, the asteroid that's
Well,
supposed to hit in like
wouldn't it-
2029 or
38.
2038 or some shit.
I mean, wouldn't it be
No,
super?
it actually moved. They it said it was gonna get closer. Now they like it's something and it because of the gases, something like that.
Yeah.
Move its trajectory, some shit like that.
Well, still, that has to be an issue. Like
But
something
I-
like that's
I
gonna
think it's just
happen,
a waste of
and
money,
we're
though.
gonna be able to fucking.
It's a way to hide a
get
fucking
away.
money.
Well,
It's-
yeah, of course it is.
'Cause-
But at the same time, just like back in the day when the B-52 came out, or the spy plane, that big fucker that went. Is that what the B-50? No,
Which one? The triangle black one?
no, the big wing, the back in the day.
Yeah.
it had the big wings, and it was.
Oh, with the big, yeah. They like in a
it went way,
stratosphere,
yeah, it went
real
so high up
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking Russians couldn't see us or shoot us down is what it was. I guess they could.
Oh, you mean you're talking about the U-2 spy plane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That
U2.
thing came out of nowhere, right? Okay.
All right,
so
this is what I don't understand, and I think I don't even know if I said this before.
they
but
probably said that about the people back then. Probably said what we're saying now. This is just a way to hide money. You know what I mean? And I get it. It is.
But if they're
But hopefully.
this brings up a double like kind. I don't know. I'm not even gonna ask the question, but if they're still inventing and designing spy planes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but don't they have satellites?
Yeah.
That could be part of the reason for the Space Force using like satellites to like be able to shoot fucking rockets from space down.
No, I understand.
Laser beams.
But what I'm asking is, what's
That's what it's gonna be. I bet.
if you have the ability to be in space
or railgun or something.
and look down, supposedly, and see you can
have
see
that.
people. What do you need
Yeah,
the
you-
planes for? What do you need to
'cause
take
we're
photographs
greedy.
with the planes?
We're greedy.
If you already got these fucking crazy
the
satellites.
planes drop bombs too.
Well,
at
which
the
is
same
it? Do you
time.
have the satellites? You would think so, right?
Yeah.
So why do you need the planes?
I don't know.
It's just a weird. It's just something I've always been like. That's a weird. Why do you need both?
That's true.
If
I never thought
I
of
mean,
that.
like you either have one, and you think you're pretending you have the other, or
Well, I think the spy plane in itself
because why risk?
is more of like
why risk human life on something that if you can get the same sorty outcome with a flying fucking camera over the sky, why risk?
well, right.
It's cheaper.
I think the whole
A
thing
satellite's
with
cheaper than a plane and a pilot put together.
I think the whole thing with spy
a plane
planes.
and a pilot is cheaper than a satellite.
But the satellites are already up there, right?
There's a bunch of them, I bet.
It's a bunch of them. We actually have like a whole bunch of garbage too.
Of course. The space is
Like they,
space is
like
full of
yo,
garbage.
like
Never
Every satellite is a piece of garbage.
But you never
I-
see anything fly across
It's
the
a
moon.
$1 billion piece of garbage up there. Just
I like to
not necessarily
like,
garbage.
watch, like interviews from
garbage,
like astronaut and cosmonauts and like
I
space station like that.
I
And
can't.
you know, it's interesting as far as like thinking about like talking about procedure, and they brought up the thing about trash, and you know, it's like yeah, before we go on a spacewalk and we have to like fix a satellite or something or like you know, we get a briefing as like how heavy the potential like space garbage is out there, and I
coming
actually,
at them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And said, you know, like, you can
Well, you ever
clearly
see
see
Gravity?
like the holes in within like the solar panels of
Oh, yeah.
you know, for the satellites that you know. and
That's what bugs me about. You ever see Gravity with Sandra Bullock and fucking?
No.
Yeah, I seen it.
Dude.
It's impossible, but I seen it. I
It's
love
not
it.
impossible.
It is impossible.
It is
You
not
can't
impossible.
go with a spacesuit from one
is
station to
not-
the other. That's impossible.
It is not impossible
Yes,
yet.
it is.
No, no.
That's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No, I'm telling you.
It's a cool movie though.
It definitely. This is the thing. Is it's coming. That's the thing, and they know it. Well, because they've already
What's coming?
being able to do that. Being
What?
out there in space for so fucking long, and yeah. Well, I'm just saying, in the movie, the space debris, they were briefing them on a bunch of shit that was coming through their area soon. And obviously that scene was pretty badass because they were outside when they couldn't get back in before it came through and it ripped apart everything.
Yeah,
but
that can
that's-
happen for sure.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is I'm sure if some of them astronauts are obviously smart enough to try and survive somehow going from one space station to the other because they are not that far apart.
Isn't
I don't know. I
But
just
they keep them apart for like triangulation.
I think it's coming.
not
That's
a
the thing.
supposed-
Like we're gonna be able to see out there. It'll be like live stream shit, and all of a sudden aliens will come popping through. And I don't know. I'm crazy, but whatever.
now aren't there hundreds of thousands of satellites?
Probably, yeah. Now
Yep.
Who the
Ones,
fuck?
broken ones.
Where have there been hundreds of thousands of launches?
all over the world.
Yeah.
You would-
we
would
do
need-
Kennedy. We do
I know, but
Texas.
but just by the numbers and based on the
they do
amount
them
of
every day too. If you go on YouTube, you can see.
So-
But are they launching every day all over the world? I don't know. I'm asking because
Not
I'm just
every day,
I'm just
but-
thinking of the numbers. Like if you have,
over the course of the time that we've had,
but it's not that much
actual
time.
rockets.
Well, that's what ends up being a lot of the garbage too. Ends up being the separation of different rockets. That
Right.
ends up being when they're like. So they actually started doing now. Just started. Fucking stupid. Started doing now where they can actually ends up coming back down and I can retrieve it, so it's not just floating around in space.
Yeah, I always wondered that where the motherfuckers went when they departed off.
Around the space, and then once it comes into the back into like
In the
that, it just
atmosphere,
burns up.
yeah.
But until then, it's just going around in a fucking circle.
Everybody fucking that flat Earth shit. And it bugged me out the other day because I was like, all right, flat Earth. What about rainbows? Don't even say it. It's a dome because I'll fucking poop my pants.
I don't really know.
Some
what you're
people,
talking
everybody,
about.
well, it's a dome. That's why it's round like that. That's why you can. Yeah, but if you all around that side of that side of the Earth, well, the map is so other people see it as flat with a dome over it. I don't know. It's fucked up, man.
Well, because they'll tell you there is no bottom. It's all flat. So it'd be like having your phone with a dome over it.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying it is. So you can't really argue with that group of people. It's like religions arguing because they have their own answers that you're just not going to accept, and that's what their backup answers
Well,
are.
nowadays it's like just Democrats and Republicans.
Well, it's everything.
Oh, God,
everything
that's
everything is teams now. Even to your fucking car. Like, I have a Chevy. I'm a Ford. Oh, fuck you. Like,
Oh,
everything
yeah.
is teams.
Well, the worst
That's
one-
just how humans
the
are.
worst one
They
is-
cling to each other's.
Yeah. The worst one is the fucking genders now.
Gender
Non-binary and
It's
fucking
crazy.
this
I
and
don't-
that. I'm
I
like,
don't
it hurt
go
my
down
head
that.
when I started
I
watching.
can't even bother. Like,
I was- something
that's
came
so
up-
first world problem. It's not even fucking.
Well, and that's
funny.
what those don't. And I'm gonna try and use the proper pronouns, quote unquote. That's what those people don't understand. Is they're fighting for an equality that's so first world problem. Like, you just look like a fucking dumb, not even mildly retarded human being. Because in my eyes, that's all we are. We're all human beings.
That's why they're
Whether it is
protesting.
male and female.
That
I don't
it's
give a fuck.
stupid that the
Black,
own government
white.
doesn't recognize some problems that are somewhat like third world country type fucking situations,
know.
and that's why there's like, this is stupid. Why are we even out here? Like with cannabis, they're protesting it. Like, you know, this is why are we even out here? You know, having to gather in the thousands and scream and go over and over and over and over and over again on something that's
doesn't
just
work.
common fucking sense, because it's politics.
You want to know why?
This is-
Because everybody's used to seeing it work
but it doesn't work.
in history back in the day
'Cause
when we did it against the Brits.
This is our perfect way to thank you, because this is what I'm trying to elegantly.
I agree with you, though.
I want to elegantly
agree.
put this in a way because it's a tricky subject, but all these groups, and I'm not saying that demeaningly, I'm saying all these groups that protest nowadays for whatever reason.
Those are the pronouns they want to use. But
What?
Nowadays.
Well-
Those, them,
All right.
instead of his, her, or their, theirs.
There.
It's fucking
There
weird.
was a time, okay, where I don't even want to say, I'm not even going to bring it up as race or gender or whatever. Man, women, child, here. The people that were here, that fled here from England, were all oppressed. Okay? And what did we do? Yeah, we fucking marched too. But we marched down to the fucking water and threw all that fucking tea in the water, put our fingers up and said, fucking do something. So, they got really pissed and they're like, okay, we'll see you motherfuckers in like 2 years when we get our army over there. We said, fucking bring it.
The Recos are coming.
And then we had our fucking little war because we said, fuck this, we're going to actually do something. We're not just going to march. Because these people are marching, okay? And you asked them, what are you doing? We're going to march. Okay, where are you marching? We're marching down there. Okay, and then what are you going to do when you get there? We're going to just sit there and fucking march and gather.
and
okay,
bitch.
and then what?
And then what?
Then we're going
And
to
yell and scream.
go home. Okay, so basically that's like you getting in your car,
Cause them
going to
ruckus.
work, sitting in the parking lot, and then going back home. Like, you didn't do anything. You just got in the way of people that are doing things. You're not doing shit.
Well, because back in the day, there was less people when we threw the tea overboard. And it made a big ruckus because it was.
But they came
literally
over here.
everybody.
They came
And
over
that's
here to
the-
put their foot down, and we said, "Fuck
Yeah,
you."
But they only came with a couple.
We
Then
fucked them
we had
up.
to wait
We fucked them up. We said,
for them to get
"Can we
back.
make this happen?" They're like, we think we can make this happen."
Yeah.
So we've been fine ever since, but we fucking made it happen. And all these people forget that you actually have to make something happen. And unfortunately,
Right,
marching
because
doesn't
every
do anything.
It was pretty much every single person lived in the Boston, Massachusetts area was there, on the boats, riding, throwing shit around. That's the thing. Like, if all of the major cities got together to find common ground on X fucking
And-
whatever, we might be able to do something with.
But unfortunately, everyone's pointing fingers, and
Right.
and most of the time you're pointing fingers at the wrong group. So then you have groups fighting each other that really shouldn't be fighting each other. But it's just
Right.
everything is so muddy, and times have changed so much now where people have the wrong idea of what's important. And
Oh, absolutely.
and I don't mean, and I'm not talking about the protesters. I'm talking about the politicians. Everyone has shit fucking fucked
Yep.
up.
Yep.
So
It's irreversible.
it's not irreversible. It's just.
We got to start over.
But that's so there's a way. That's not irreversible.
All right, how about this?
There's
Starting
two
over
ways.
is getting things
Ready?
changed to get it swapped over
Like
to
that
how it
new
should
movie,
be. But
The Purge.
honestly, this
it's-
government has turned into what we ran from. This government is what the standing British
shit.
government was, and what we all fucking ran from. It's
Right.
just, it's crazy how
and that's why I've
it's
always
turned
said
into that.
nowadays we would never be able to do what they did back in the day against the government that they were running from or being suppressed or whatever from the Brits. With the military that the United States has, I don't give a fuck. Some somebody
Space
brought,
Force.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't got no civil.
exactly.
Who's the bad?
Somebody
He's like,
brought
you
up.
got an army, navy. That's cute.
Yeah.
We have a space force.
Yeah, but then here's the flip side of that though is a buddy of mine brought up this point. Just in Wisconsin alone, the amount of just registered hunters. Okay, these are people that most likely have guns or bow and arrows and are pretty well off at hunting things and killing things. It would be like the third or fourth largest army in the militia in the army in the world.
But that's a small arms army.
You're absolutely right.
So,
But
you're
add Texas,
So,
you know what I mean? Now
no,
we're
so in comparison, right? China, small arms to small arms, army to army, they got us beat like a shitload
Yeah.
to whatever the hell we got.
not if you add
But-
these
but they
people
can't.
that I'm
but if
talking
you-
about.
here,
in.
so that's the thing.
Right, but if we end up adding, if you end up doing with our technology versus theirs, they're not a competition. They haven't, but they're starting to gain, and that's where some things come in. And this is something that might be, it is ridiculous to say all the problems we fucking got, and you're gonna end up putting a shitload of money towards Space Force as fast as you can. You got that, General? Yeah, you do. You got that?
Exactly.
Oh, I do. Like he was
Dude, if
ordering
it's
fucking
legit-
eggs.
If it's legit, I think it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, let's
But
try it.
if-
Fuck it. It's,
I'm like-
times are
So,
different
so
now.
this is so this is what I think where it really is end up being something that it might be a positive as far as trying to, Lord help me, trying to find a positive in what the fuck he just said is that so much money is going to end up being put into so-called Space Force. There's going to be a lot of R&D. There's going to be a lot of science and technology money.
But don't
which
we
is
have
like,
NASA? What happened with that?
they're broke, man.
So
they don't fund them enough. This is where this
So
is where
it's like
this is
it's-
good.
so this is
it's
like-
going to end up giving them more money. That's
So
the good thing
you're-
on that part.
I think they've been silently getting funded by
But if
probably like Tesla and shit like that.
if you're NASA and you've run out of funding, so what are we doing? We're just putting on a
Government
new,
funding.
putting on a new face
Not
so that we can
fucking-
refund.
No, because they always it ends up being this ends up being more on actually on the conservative side. They believe that we shouldn't be spending money on nonsense going up to space. We already basically saying that we already know everything that we need to know. Why are we spending money on NASA? We already went to the moon. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but
So what they don't
know-
understand is
they
that
know
all
things
this
we
kind of
don't.
like research and trying to do and that and actually figuring out why the universe is doing what it is, why a potential solar flare could end up knocking out all our power or just fucking with our cable or our cell phones because it's fucking with the satellites. All that science that ends up coming from actually exploring out there. And with this potential Space Force could end up being a bigger budget towards NASA, which they're constantly getting cut at. Which is, I think, in my opinion, exploration into science is crucial for just advancement.
Yeah, but you don't want
but,
the military being in charge of the science.
but that's the thing. We watch any movie out there. On,
But they have.
they
they don't have to be.
whoever
But
out
No,
there is
I
actually
under-
researching
I
something like
know.
that. That fucking the military.
I
is
know
keeping
they
track
already
of that
got
shit.
everything. I know that you have to run movie scripts by the military. Everything's run by the military.
Everything's
I know
run by
that,
the
but
military.
Well, that's the thing
Well,
that
not
bugs me
really,
out.
though.
Like you say
Wink,
movies
wink.
when you say movie scripts, is I swear that a lot of movies are like precursor warnings of what's to come.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Star Trek.
Just because it's someone's mind or script that someone wrote, I bet more than 50% of the time, some of these like Martian, when what's his face was stuck up on Mars, and he grew
Matt
shit
Damon.
and he grew his
The
shit
closest
from
scientific proven
stuff
movie
like that.
out there, period, hands down.
Well, that's the thing is, I don't doubt that. Look, what's his face just sent something to Mars. I bet we tried to send something already and it was not known, and it's just sitting there waiting. Just like Trump said, we're gonna
Yeah, we
start
sent a few
sending
of them
up
out there
fucking shuttles
bounced.
with stuff in orbit so we can just grab it later. Like I forgot what he said, but it was pretty much like supplies that are gonna go up into orbit.
Right.
and we'll get 'em-
Yeah, we'll
get
just
'em.
dock, blah blah,
Yeah.
and just keep
Yeah.
slingshot
Yep.
around and keep.
So
yeah.
that's the thing. Like Mars is next for sure. I can.
Yeah.
If I had to bet any money on anything,
But that
it
started, that actually started with Bush. W. He's the
Well, I
first
don't
one
know.
that said Mars, bitches.
Well, I mean, Just from what we know, from what the scientists that can see out there with the telescopes and they watch this shit. That's why another thing I don't understand with the flat earthers. But anyways, so that's just the next spot that we know of that could,
Oh, I agree.
and we're going on a whim, obviously,
So,
potentially making it there and living there.
So listen,
It's
there's
like,
a show on Sci-Fi. They
let's
just
bring hemp
finished.
there and shit.
They
and
just
fucking
finished their
vegetables.
third season.
Everybody poop.
It's
out
called
there.
The Expanse, and I've been watching it simply because it's actually a show about this 200 years from now, the
Nice.
civilization, how we ended up colonizing Mars, the moon, and we're mining the asteroid belt. So we got people living on small asteroids, all across our universe. And how the human body ended up developing after your kids end up being born there. Like how the body, with being born in low G, the people that live on the belt, the belters, are more longer. But if the second they end up stepping on like Mars or Earth, it's like completely painful because it's too much just pulling on them. And how much like the Earth people going out to space and being on a belt, how much stronger they are than everybody else because they have denser bones and like, all this sign thing and stuff like that. So it just finished the third season. 10 days after it finished like that, they canceled the show. Said that they don't want to put no more money into it. Jeff Bezos said, "Fuck that, I'm buying it. We're putting it on Amazon." I was like, I like that show. I'm like, damn.
I feel like they're gonna
I know
bleed.
this dude's gonna end. He's gonna. Of course, Amazon's probably gonna end up investing in something in space. And two, the fact that you could just have enough money, say, "Oh, my favorite show's canceled. I'm gonna buy that shit and keep it going." That's pretty dope.
Well, when you have
so
that much
rich.
money.
$141.1 billion. Richest man in the world.
Yeah, and that's probably just what they say.
Yeah, net worth. It's not like
He's
translating
he's
to
up
actual
on
cash.
that. My eyes feel literally they're gonna bleed.
Why?
They just feel like they're gonna bleed from the corners. They're not dry or anything. Are they red?
No.
Damn.
They're kind of bluish.
It's just like a numb feeling right there. I guess it's weird.
My head's just gonna explode because
Space Force.
yeah, you can't even get to the moon. All right. So we'll start there.
It's pretty smart though.
I want to. Yeah, they should
Let's
definitely.
fake it. We won.
The only thing that bugs me out about that is, don't you
Salute.
think?
Damn it, thank you.
Get out of him! Don't you think, knowing our government, if it was not real, if it is fake, because like Rogan says, I'm too stupid to fucking know. I don't know. So anyways, when do you think they would have killed fucking Aldrin and all the other guys that were on the moon, quote unquote?
Why?
No. You need representatives.
You need those faces, and those guys never flipped. They went to the grave. They went
That's
to
what
the
I'm,
grave.
that's what I'm saying, because they would,
You just died, right?
because they would have been, it would have been a liability.
I like them though.
Right.
They're liabilities. So if it,
But if
in
you-
my eyes, if it wasn't fake, then they keep them alive. If it was fake, they would have killed them.
The ones that were killed were the guys that were the first. I forgot the names now, but the first group of guys that were supposed to go up, they got taken out in training. Because the guy, the main astronaut, I'm fucking blanking on his name now. I forgot his name, but he went to the press and said, "This thing ain't going nowhere," because he was seeing the actual craft, and he actually hung a lemon on the front door of the craft, and made like the press come and like did an interview with. He put a lemon on the front door of the fucking craft, basically saying,
It's a lemon.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
This thing's not flying fucking anywhere." And guess what? That motherfucker fried in training. They fucking incinerated the capsule. And then guess what? Not another fucking astronaut said shit. Boom!
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like
The Challenger, fucks my head up.
That's
bad.
why I say they went.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd have been dead.
No, did you hear what I just said?
I know what you're trying to say, but like,
I'm not trying to say that's what happened.
It all leads to like that dude put a lemon on the thing and he said, "This thing ain't going nowhere. I'm not going in this thing. It ain't flying nowhere." Boom, dead.
So everyone else plays along,
and then they fixed it. I don't know about playing along, because any liability like that.
They played along,
and I am
Buzz
not.
will punch
I
you
am
right in
not,
the fucking face. Well,
right.
He was.
That's
He was
the
punch-
thing.
He was like, "What?" But yo, he's like, "I ain't playing. I'm an
that's
old man."
the other thing.
I'll
Like,
just punch you in
I
the
mean,
fucking
whatever.
face
That
anyway.
could have been a fucking.
He didn't. He didn't get in trouble once.
He could have just been in a bad day.
I guess you can take all that stuff out of it. I've just seen way too much on the entire, not just the Apollo missions, but the whole all of NASA. It just seen too much fuckery where I don't believe it. Too much, way too much. It's a science operation.
I know there's
with
a lot of
a massive Hollywood wing attached to it.
I know there's a lot of that shit to it too. It's just it's so weird.
You just if you go to space, you don't fake going to space. You just don't have to. It's so fantastic on its own. You don't have to have all these movie productions.
So you don't think that we've been to the moon once?
No, not humans.
Not even flown around it.
Not even the Russians.
I don't think so. No, not humans. No.
Obviously, the satellites.
Yeah,
Maybe.
because they can get through the radiation belt.
I know that's the other thing. I mean, radiation belt.
Honestly, that's something too that I've always thought about. With with those astronauts, like you would have thought, considering what kind of protection they had back then on those capsules.
It was all bullshit, bro.
How the fuck did they end up living as long as they have? Some of them like that, like
'Cause
cancer,
because-
fucking free. Like
They didn't go.
Because gravity and the sun's
didn't make
rays
it.
are just as fucking powerful in New Jersey, which is where they probably were filming that shit, or wherever the fuck they were filming that. They weren't circling the moon. There's no fucking way. There's no way. I don't think so. I'm not going to say that's a fact. I don't think so based on what I've watched. And I've watched many, many hours of stuff.
Well, right, because
Many
they
hours.
never thought this many years down the road we would have this kind of technology to fucking deeply look into all that stuff. And now we're finding facts and stuff like that.
Can
where
all right, going to the moon has got to be considered one of human beings' greatest feats.
Yeah.
And you know what we
By
did
far.
with all of the research and all of the fucking everything? We fucking threw it all away and burned it and misplaced it. You can't find any of the research on it from the actual missions. It's all gone. They threw it away. And now they say, well, we couldn't even go to the moon now because we threw all that research away, so we didn't even know how to do that. We couldn't do that again. What the fuck? Our phones are smarter than what those goddamn rockets were. Those whole rooms with all those people clicking the buttons and you see those fucking...
I know, man. It's just fucking...
And then when you see all the outtakes, when you see the actual outtakes of the astronauts with the police, where supposedly they'll tell you it's the training things that they're doing, but those are the clips that they use that were broadcasted across the world, except it was with shitty fucking, film quality, so you couldn't really see anything, but it's just crazy.
I know.
I grew up believing it, and I
know.
I still think it would be awesome if it was true. I just can't,
I can't
I can't honestly
I can't
say I
wrap
believe
my
it.
head around it, the whole thing, because there's so much, shit about yay and so much shit about nay. It's like I would like to believe it,
And then when you throw the Cold War into it, and you're like, oh yeah, that whole thing was going on too. It's like it's such a perfect wag the dog movie situation.
right, like perfectly written.
What?
No, the whole what are you talking about? Like it just the whole how it ended up all like, oh, that seems like just right. Like yeah, we won, suck it.
I mean,
yeah.
It worked,
Russia never got there.
but it worked.
Oh yeah,
It
absolutely.
totally
It was
worked.
absolutely brilliant. 100% fucking fantastic move. Great psyop, outstanding. But that doesn't mean we got to the moon. I still don't think we got to the moon. We fucking fooled everyone that we got to the moon, which is sweet. But
It's so crazy.
at this point, you even have NASA scientists talking about someday figuring out how to get through the radiation belt. What do you
Yeah.
mean someday? I thought you guys already did it.
Yeah.
And then when
Well, it's been so many years now. I think there's that whatchamacallit contract that they signed. It was only so many 50 years or whatever. The fuck.
So it says, all right, the United States Apollo was the first manned mission on the moon, and on July 20th, 1969, so it's coming up as far as like so-called anniversary. There have been 6 manned U.S. landings between 1969 and 1972, and numerous unmanned landings with no soft landings happening from 22nd August 1976 until 14 December 2013.
That was China that landed.
That was what he's talking about as far as like the no soft.
Like they landed and bounced around like we.
No, they put a fucking piece of machine on
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
Cause,
That means
'cause
unmanned.
they can't get there either.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
why would all other
I know,
countries say,
I know.
I guess we got beat. We're not. No. Everyone still claims
Like we
that
know
stupid
something
fucking
that we
mountain.
don't, especially nowadays. Like we really know something they don't know.
Like, what about the resources up there? All these countries, like, there's gotta like.
So what said 1972 was the last.
They're
one,
talking
and
about
it's
fucking mining
2018.
asteroids. What about the moon? It's right there. It's right there.
I know.
1972.
It's fucked up.
It's just
fucked.
crazy.
And when you smoke weed, it opens your mind about it. Because what bugs me out is I've actually looked through a fucking badass telescope, and I saw Saturn.
So 46 years.
46 years ago, we landed on the moon.
1972 was the last time.
Was the last time. I mean, that's just not how humans operate. You know,
Why would we stop?
it would never. We like I said, we
We'd be like,
keep
yo, we're trying to
climbing
get there
Mount-
monthly.
The fucking
yeah, they.
what's that mountain?
In all honesty, they probably should
Everest.
have been like.
Mount Everest. We keep climbing that stupid fucking thing and there's nothing really to gain
No,
besides a little pride.
Personal, yeah.
that's it.
That's the thing is.
Well,
like,
you
as
know,
soon as they,
that
as soon as
that
they
ends up being
landed-
on if you can or can't. Either your body is built for it or it isn't.
But
And
that's
like,
but that's a personal goal and it's
right.
But
It's fucking expensive as
As
fuck.
soon as
too.
I landed, I'd have been like,
50
and
grand.
then made it back down safely. I'd have been like, okay, we're bringing up fucking all kinds of plants and poop and fucking fertilizers and shit. And we're
But
gonna
no, they
try
played
and-
golf and fucking drove a buggy around, and that's what
Yeah.
they did up there. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Where'd that buggy come from? How did it get there?
Matter of
Did you
fact,
see the fucking lander that they've?
Something's up with them though.
I
With
remember I
those
posted-
4 that went up and walked around because
Yeah, you need to have the front men who are gonna go to the grave saying it's true, so that
I guess.
they're the idols, they're the national heroes, they're the people that you basically hide the whole program behind because everyone loves those people. So if you cross those people, you're gonna be hated by the many that love them,
right.
and you become the fucking theorist person.
Right.
The
So why would
conspiracy
they
guy.
turn?
They're not gonna turn.
Yeah, why would they turn?
I'm sure they would fucking taken
Well care of. Yeah.
they lived long. They live a long time. So yeah.
But like you can't, like people that are like getting caught with like vials of moon dust and stuff. Like some of it's been tested and it's all fake.
That's the
It's
thing,
all
is,
fake.
and that's true. When they came back down, and they were in that press in the meeting, you see it. You've seen it. They're all sitting there like this, like not happy at all. Like, bro, you just got back from the fucking moon, let alone space. The fucking moon, quote unquote,
And then they're-
safely.
And they can't answer questions like, "So, did you see the stars?" I think we saw stars, and they're all looking at each other like, "Shit, that wasn't in the script. What the fuck?"
Yeah. What do we say, guys?
Yeah, I think I saw some stars. You know what? We weren't really paying attention to the stars. We were. Blah, blah,
Well,
blah.
speaking, like I said, I've looked through a badass
Wait.
telescope.
How can they say some shit like that? Cause
Bro, watch.
Hey, watch
This is
it.
why.
It's
This
fucked
I'm
up.
is
saying like
This is why everyone goes about going to school, hearing it. We landed, we did this, and that's all they hear about, and that's all they look into. When you actually start looking at shit and
I
watching,
understand.
you can watch the videos and you can see these
it's
guys.
just so wild to like not like you just from like that, but like automatically start questioning for those people back then to like
Yeah, but-
not questioning it at all.
I don't think they were programmed like we are.
Yeah, you're not. We are so exposed. Like our generation of people is so exposed through the internet of possibilities and questions and
yeah.
doubt, and we have all kinds of questions now.
I can find out about some bug in Ethiopia or Zimbabwe
In
or fucking
1969,
Russia or like
you were at the
whatever.
whim of the 3 channels they played.
Yep.
You know,
ABC, NBC,
Unless you
CBS.
were-
very
real
easy to
nut.
fucking control the people back then. Now
That's
it's a shit
true.
show. Now you have to have all kinds of things going on, like operations and psyops and all kinds of shit like that, because people are not as easily controlled.
So
Thank you
That's why I say
that's
this-
why I say it's irreversible.
And that's why I say we have to start over.
I mean,
It's-
100%
to try
no.
to fix something like this.
But like
imagine how
99.9%.
with the current system we have now, to kind of scale back on all that stuff would end up taking just as long.
Yeah, but
Because-
at the same time, it's a constant evolving weapon because they're slowly generation by generation having new people come in, not even realizing all the fuckery that happened in the past because of just the fast, quick pace of life now. They don't even connect the dots as to they're getting fucked and controlled and all that shit. It's just
Yeah.
all those morals are slowly being drifted out of the United States' background. We're just becoming a fucking massive mob, fucking angry people with no real background besides what we want to call or whatever we put our flag in our fucking rearview mirror. Like,
So
That's
everyone's
why.
forgetting.
That's why when I see these fucking that movie and it's already been a movie, The Purge. That shit bugs me out because I swear to God that some shit like that's coming.
I don't. What was the purge?
It's
12 hours, everything's legal, including murder.
you ever had the conversation, man? What if we can end up
So if you can survive and you have
breaking the law for like one day, and you would never get in trouble? What would you do?
Stay inside all fucking day so I don't get killed because someone's gonna kill me.
So the Purge, they ended up making it into a fucking whole movie, a bunch of movies. So
I would,
oh, the
I would
Purge, the
lock
Purge.
up my wife, so no one could get her all night for 12 hours. And I would definitely go out with me and my buddy, and there would be a bunch of people that would go down. I'm just saying, that's me.
And there you have it. And that's the nature of humans.
I have
So-
enough to sustain myself to take out many people, and he's got even more than me.
So it ends up being too with in the future, there's gonna be a point that if we continue at the rate that we're actually giving birth and all that shit,
just be
that
like
there's
China.
gonna be more people than there is jobs. And now to get a job, to become a doctor, to become anything, it'll be a lottery of you and a whole bunch of shit of people
Well,
to
eventually
possibly
they're
get
gonna
that
be-
job. If you don't get that job, then you're basically on state assistant.
Eventually, there's
going
going to be those tests, and it's going to stem right from
Yeah.
high school or even younger. There'll be those tests where if you're not smart enough, see ya.
for sure.
You see those movies, it's that's the only way that shit like that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I mean, they already have the SATs or whatever, so it's just gonna be like a really, really bad version of that.
I tell every kid I run across is don't pay attention. It's do good in the test because when it comes to your normal 9 to 5 type of jobs and stuff like that, it matters somewhat. Again, like we were talking about earlier,
I never took 'em.
positions, top positions, directors, so on and so forth, that we believe are probably the most qualified people, or end up getting those positions because of people who they know with no qualifications. It happens more frequently now than it used to.
That's what it's getting built off of, really.
Yeah.
And then all these people don't know what the hell they're voting in. Well, what's good and what's bad. Only what's good for themselves.
Well, that's the danger in any system that's not merit-based promotion run. If you're just able to throw someone into a position of power because of who you know, that's a dangerous situation all the time.
And this
Any
is what
company.
we've allowed. This
I
is
know.
what
I
we've
can say from
allowed.
experience, that's how the post office is run. You go from being someone that's delivering mail, and then you just go, I don't want to do this anymore, and you just sign a piece of paper, and then the next day you're a fucking supervisor. In the same place you were just delivering mail. So, like that, you walk in with a fucking tie on, and now you're telling people what to do. So you have no respect. No one respects you. You were just fucking...
Stand next to me.
You were
Yeah,
just
stand
doing the
next to
same
you.
shit. You're trying to yell at me now.
Yeah, yeah,
So, it's those type of operations are a fucking joke, and they'll never fucking succeed. Those type of businesses always flop.
I like the post. I used to work. I did a casual for 6 months at a post office once. I got chased by dogs. I did it during summertime season 2.
I've been bit by pit bulls. I've been attacked by people.
I got chased by a few. None of them got me. It was only through the summertime season 6 months. And that was it.
Yeah, I mean,
It was rough. It was a rough work.
yeah,
no
it's
joke.
people. Yeah, it's a good job, but it's just not. for me.
Walking with that bag, those bags. Yeah, you gotta get the relays right. You gotta get your rhythm just to kind of because you gotta try to knock it out.
every fucking day except for the weather.
You gotta try to complete
Yep.
your route. if you don't, you know, you got to add that on to the next
I
day.
wasn't
And
a-
they don't like that.
I wasn't a mailman, but I had paper with my buddy, so pretty much kind of same thing, kind of.
Yeah, I totally like shut that part of my life out, even though I was a mailman for like fucking 14 years. It's like it never happened. Never fucking. I was.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever ended up getting actually like one of those like like they always like talked about the inspectors like this like scary dudes always like peek. I was like, damn, these are motherfucking perverts. Like, did you ever see one of them like come out at any time?
I've had to deal with inspectors because I got attacked by people, and like I've had multiple situations with. I'll tell you one. This has nothing to do with inspectors, but just a little message to everyone that's out there listening: do not fuck with your mailman. All right. There was this one house on one of the routes I was doing, where they had 3 tenants living in the house, but they had one mailbox, and like, so they had
A bunch of mail going in one box.
Yeah, which I don't give a fuck about that. But this lady was a total cunt to me, like a total cunt. Like one time I forgot to put because she doesn't get 3 flyers to her house. She only gets 1 because it's only 1 address. Like she fucking flipped out on me because the regular person knows to already put extra ones in there. Well, it's stupid bullshit. But the point of the story is, I go, oh really, bitch? Like this bitch like belittled me and fucking totally was like, because I was a mailman.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, really? Like, 2 streets over was the fucking building inspector. So I drove right to his fucking car because I had seen it a little while before. And I go, hey, the people at blah, 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 you know, they got 2 phantom apartments out of that house on top of their regular residency. So I don't know if maybe you want to check on the taxes if you've been collecting from that house or not, but I think you should probably look into it. The next day, the lady was at the post office wanting to fucking kill me. Wanting to kill me because
That's where going postal comes from.
because they got a certified letter from the city of Warwick letting them know
They were fucked.
they were fucked.
Yeah.
And it was right near Christmas
with a
time.
capital F
Oh,
and
man.
a capital D.
Yep. So the inspectors got involved because she was, you know, trying to threaten me, and she was like telling the people at the post office she was gonna stalk me out of the building and find out where I lived and all this shit.
I will uppercut
That was
you
loud.
right in the pussy, bitch.
It was hilarious. But,
Yeah, but you can't fuck with postal workers.
do not
No,
fuck
he
with
was
the
the
post office.
postal worker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't.
No, right.
You can't do that.
And I would
said,
never-
Okay, I'm
because,
off
you know,
at 3.
And I am not a fucking rat, okay? But
Yeah, she was being a bitch.
I had, and it wasn't the first
she
time.
had
Like
it coming.
this bitch had it coming because she was just one of those always home bitches that came out to complain. Like 95 degrees out, and she's coming out to bitch about something that you didn't even like. Whatever, just one of those people that had it fucking coming. And I said, I'm gonna be the one that starts this fucking gets this ball rolling. I couldn't believe how fast the city jumped down these people.
I bet. I would have looked at her and be like, I'm usually off at 3. I'll be waiting outside.
Oh, I had to stand in the office with her because they had to basically, me and the inspector and the lady had to sit there and like
Talk it out.
talk it out, and I was just smirking. I was looking this lady dead in her face, just like chuckling, like, because I had nothing to do or say. I was just like, I did absolutely nothing wrong, bitch. Sorry.
Wasn't me. I didn't do shit.
Sorry. But, anyways, don't fuck with the mailman. That's just one stupid little story of.
Yeah,
I
it's
know,
saying,
man.
isn't that a federal offense?
Yeah. Don't fuck
Yeah.
with the federal employee.
You can't. You say they're just delivering mail. Let them fucking do
You
their
ready
job.
for this
God
story
damn it,
real
shit.
quick?
Oh, I've got so many stories.
With fucking...
Fuck that job.
Alright, so I'm not going to say any names. And I wasn't the one that was doing the really legal stuff. That's all I have to say. So
Allegedly.
it was around Christmas time.
Can I twist another one?
Yeah, go. Yeah, man. Go for
It was around Christmas time, and a couple of my buddies decided we're gonna take some acid.
Nice.
All the lights around.
Oh my
Fucking,
God.
we're gonna go for a walk.
I'll tell you when
Check
my
out
acid
all
got
the
here.
lights. You know what I mean? Run through people's yards. Do some crazy shit. We were younger. It was like
I've never
fucking
done acid.
17, I think. At the
Tell you
time.
about the weirdest one in a second after his.
Holy shit. You've done acid.
Never done acid. I've done DMT. I've done mushrooms. I've never done acid.
Really?
So I don't know why and how, but I would the year 2000, all this stupid like from like you know, I don't know what the fuck happened. I was partying, going from party to party to party, and right before midnight, I was planning to be at church.
Why?
Because
Like really?
Midnight Mass.
I swear to God, just in case, yo, like, cause I'm like, fuck it.
Oh,
yo,
shit.
So I was jumping from party. I was like, fuck it. If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna party, and then I'm gonna church. Somewhere along the road, I fucking ate acid. So I'm sitting there, 11:58, thinking that I'm about to like poof extinguish. Like I'm tripping on acid. I'm hearing the pastor. I'm holding this girl. I'm like, here it goes. Like
Nothing happens.
Then you're like, wait a minute.
I was like,
It's all right.
too. I'm like,
Wait a minute. It's
It
already
already
it's
happened.
already
Oh.
5 in the morning in the UK. They're still alive, right?
yeah.
Start to realize it's time zones and
oh, this is stupid.
Well, we go running.
I'm leaving. So I left, walking, tripping. Fucking just
We go running.
I don't remember where. I lost one shoe.
And we stop pulling all everybody's lights off the fucking bushes and shit.
Christmas lights.
Yep. So, next thing you know, one of my fucking idiot buddies, he's in the mailboxes, taking people's mail that was left overnight, if they did leave it.
What a fucking retard.
So,
Sorry, Bonds buddy.
yeah, I'm not in the right state of mind, nor did I really care, but somewhere in there I remember hearing something go, that's not good. But we just kept going down the road and
Just
this
taking
fucking-
mail.
Not me.
Just taking people's junk mail, which is hilarious.
Yeah, he was. But he wasn't even like taking it.
no, just being.
He
just
was just off
taking
in
it.
another world.
Right, he wasn't
like,
trying to-
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is the thing. He was just throwing it.
He wasn't trying to
Because
be
when he
steal
threw it in the
identities.
air, it would go in all the lights and shit.
Yeah.
And it was funny to me too because I was behind him. It was just like a cartoon happening, and all of a sudden, poof, there was a big bright light in front of me, and I'm like, I can't see. And all of a sudden, I hear, "Age of the cell phone, boys," and I literally almost pooped my pants. It was cops, no blue lights, nothing, just the poof light.
Oh.
Dead stop in the middle of the road. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And right at the moment that light went on, my buddy's behind a tree. And the other cop behind him turned his light on, and it was shining towards him in the tree. He goes like this, right in the air. Like it wasn't going to get seen. All behind him. I'm bugging the fuck out, alright? I don't even know. Like, I knew what was going on because obviously I remember the movie. It was a movie. Luckily, the other kid I was with that wasn't fucking being stupid like that, he was just taking lights with me. It was his uncle, who's a cop. So, once he realizes it's us, he drags us into the fucking field across the street. Proceeds to spin his ring around, his class ring, and we all caught it upside the back of the head. Very, very, very aggressively.
Why?
Jesus Christ, that's horrible.
Because he didn't want to bring us to jail.
So we had to punch you in the head?
Why you're tripping
Well,
on
because
acid?
it's his uncle. So he knew who we were. Like,
Yeah.
Like
so
knucklehead, right?
like,
Well,
you
take that
fucking
or take
idiots,
going to
what the
jail.
fuck are you
I
doing? Are you
understand.
But
fucking
Jesus
stupid?
Christ.
Getting caught by the cops is enough of a fucking fair.
Yeah, well, he brought it to the not utmost next level because that would have been fucking federal prison, but not for me, but
Yeah, no,
for
it's
the other
just
kid.
Funny.
And instantly,
We gotta- we
the other
say-
kid was like, "It was me,"
Public intoxication.
and he's like, "Yeah, we know it was
Fine,
you. You fucking threw the mail in the air, you fucking dumbass." So, in more punishment, he drove us in his car down the road, and we had to pick up all the lights, and the other kid had to pick up all the mail, and sneakily put it all back in everybody's mailbox.
Oh, wow.
While he's tripping.
Raleigh's tripping. Well, he
Wow.
was not really tripping at this point. Like,
And not after a ring knock. Probably
he
not.
yeah, but like the situation really came to him. I was pretty much on the ride still, like, but the whole time as we're stopping and we look and see mail in the car, I'm fucking elbowing my other buddy, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! I was like, I didn't know he took all this fucking shit. Like, Jesus fucking Christ! And it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't a lot of mail. It was all junk mail, like fucking stupid flyers and shit that was left over.
Credit card statements.
No,
and shit like
and
that.
and not even that. It just because there wasn't a lot of people that left their mail in the mailbox overnight. Number one, and number
Yeah,
two,
that's true.
it just looked like more because it was flyers.
Yeah, and it opens up.
So
and
it opens
flies
up, and it
everywhere.
was just looked like more to me, especially because while it was happening,
He's
and
tripping
he's
too,
in front of
yeah,
us,
yeah,
hot butt bipping around in the fucking in the shadows. It was all shadows that night. That's all I remember, except for the cop car. That was bright white, bright white, and even him, he was a shadow. His uncle, and we never got in trouble. He fucking dropped us off down the road, and we walked back to my house, and fucking watched the house breathe. Because we went back in the house, and the fucking walls in my room and in the living room were breathing, like heavy breathing.
Yep.
It was fucking nuts. But it was fun, nonetheless. That was a fucking crazy night, I can say that.
I love psychedelics.
Oh, man.
Absolutely love them.
I've taken so much acid and so much mushrooms.
Yeah, I've taken a lot of mushrooms.
I haven't taken
We
a
used to
lot of
eat
mushrooms.
quarters
More
as a
acid
dose.
than mushrooms.
I grew them
Yeah.
for a long time.
It took a lot.
We
to eat.
had a buddy that grew them.
I
a lot
remember
of fucking
eating a 70-gram mushroom because it was fresh.
Wow.
So you're like, trying to do the math
Was
on
it a
it.
closed cap?
No, it was open, but it was still a fucking monster.
Big,
But
In one sitting, or
yeah,
just
because
like
well,
over
because
time?
it's only
In one
that's
sitting?
because that's only 7 grams dry.
Well, right, but over time. Because what we would do is I'd eat an eighth, right, and then
No, I fucking go
I'd-
Terrence McKenna style, bro.
well, we'd eat an eighth, and then we'd wait like an hour, and as soon as as soon as it started kicking in, the other eighth would go down. So we got that little like boost at the end of the trip. We learned that somehow, I don't know where, but just by taking a lot of acid, I think, and then mushrooms on top of it to like calm down.
I never
from the acid.
I never found that taking more boosts anything. That's why I always would just take
Oh,
a
Well, it was-
acid
does with
dose
E.
up front.
Well,
No, I'm talking about mushrooms. I've never
Oh
taken
no, with
E.
the
I've
like
never
regular.
taken
Yeah, I
acid.
think it's just it extends it.
No, it doesn't. It's
You don't
not
think
an
it extends it?
extension. And for him, because he's never done it the way I've done it.
Like you do
For
it in
him, it's a-
increments.
No, I've done
It's-
it for mushrooms. I've tried taking more as I go, and I'm like, I don't feel the actual kick further as opposed to just eating the
it's-
full amount in the
it's-
beginning.
It's more of a well, for me, I guess. If I eat it all at once, it's more of a visual, like real. That when
Yeah.
you're not there.
That's
like,
where I
you're-
go.
Right. When I would take the eighth, wait that hour or so.
So you're
eat
socially
them-
using them, going out, having fun.
Oh, a little more than social, yeah. Like
But like
that
you're with
next
your
step.
buddies, like doing
Certain
shit.
people, yeah, that I had.
Yeah,
'cause
like
you know
I-
the deal. You could
Yeah,
only
you
trip
gotta
with
be
certain
yeah,
people.
I trip
and-
alone, 100% alone.
Well, with acid, you gotta trip with somebody.
I don't do
Well,
acid, so I don't know. I don't know.
It's
the
one of those
protocols.
things that you always.
I've tripped alone on both.
I don't like. I feel like it's
I've always ended up alone sometimes. Most of the
towards
time.
the end.
I mean, I
the
always
end.
use mushrooms as a form of like church. That's my spiritual
Right.
retreat. Like
Right.
so, I never.
Would you do the frog?
What's the frog?
The
Oh, toad. Like a
Oh,
toad.
you like that toad thing?
That-
Yeah,
not
that's
lick it,
supposed to
not
be
whatever,
natural,
yeah,
like
yeah,
more
you
organic,
street
DMT
it.
like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
off
like the.
and you smoke it. Just take a little flake. It's like a.
It's like
Yeah, I know
natural
what you're talking about. I know
DMT.
what
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
about. It's just. I mean,
I would.
I've done DMT
I
many
would.
times.
Well, this is the thing is like with DMT is number one. I just don't. It's the same thing with like weed and stuff like that. I like to know where it comes from. So with the toad,
You can make your.
no
own
one
DMT,
made it.
though.
Like I want like you obviously if you get to do it, if you go and do it like that
Out
guy
west.
does,
you get to see them excrete it off into the glass and it dries and then you smoke it right from there. And so to me, that's like the most natural way, other than somebody making it and you don't know what they made it with or how they did it or. You know what I'm saying? Like just that that natural aspect of it.
Yeah,
Not
you-
Yeah,
necessarily
but
the-
at the end of the day, it's
it's still the same. trip.
dimethyltryptamine.
Right.
So, But-
I know. I just.
It's like breast milk and synthetic breast milk.
It's the same thing. At the end of the day, it's weed.
right, but you're probably not gonna be able to get your hands on that frog shit.
No, you can go do. You can.
You got to go there to
That-
do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well,
Like,
right.
that's what you got to
It's
do.
in Arizona, right?
And that's the
I think
only
it's
way I
in,
would
it's
do
in
it.
Arizona. You got to go to
'Cause
Arizona
you're with
because
that dude
you got to
who, like-
find. They got to find the toad, and it only lives in that specific area.
Well, yeah,
You
but
could
you're with
literally-
that guy who does it. He's like a shaman.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
You, I mean, you could make DMT yourself. It's plants and it's
Okay.
breaking down
Yeah,
plants.
that's then.
You
I
could
would
do it
try.
yourself.
That's
I mean,
what I would try.
it's a stinky process
I
because of
bet.
the stuff that you need to.
Ayahuasca?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not ayahuasca. You're not making a tea.
Oh.
It's you. I don't know what's needed, but you need like some chemicals to break down.
Yeah. I go.
It's like BHO type of
Yeah.
thing when you have extraction with chemicals or whatever.
Yep.
But
That's
whatever, I mean-
that's the part that scares me about it. Like, even if some, I don't know.
well, I mean, whatever. To me, it's
Well,
I understand,
And this is
but
the thing. Like, I used to take acid from where? I don't fucking know. You know what I mean?
A
So
dry
now
shit.
that I,
Okay, so,
now
alright,
that I'm
yeah.
older, when I think of
But
those,
that's-
because I
let's-
would never thought
let's
like
not-
this.
Because how many festivals did you go to back in the day? Because you know, like that's where everybody kind of basically read up with all the books of acid and
Well,
shit.
that's
yo,
what
I'm
I
going
feel
to a
opened my
festival.
mind
I'm gonna get blah
about
blah
it.
blah. Yo, let me get some money so I can bring you back some shit. Da 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 da. Yo, let me know when you
Well,
get
that-
back. I'm gonna buy
yeah,
like a whole like
that
fucking
part of it, I
sheet.
feel, is what opened up my mind about
But if
it.
you've all right, so
You
let's
know?
just say you were able to create your own DMT, or whatever. Forget. Just would you take it?
yeah, if I could do it myself,
Right.
Yeah.
And you can do it yourself.
or if me
I
and
want-
you could do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can. I agree. I just didn't know.
I know
For-
people that can do it,
Right.
but I didn't know.
And you
like-
guys would do it for therapeutic reasons.
I've done it many times. Over a dozen times I've done
So
DMT.
just to make sure everybody's hitting out there. To
Well,
like,
here's
you
the
know,
thing about
and
that
this is all we were
statement.
talking about, like with therapeutic
Oh,
reasons.
I always, and I am. You could ask anyone that actually knows me. I do not promote this stuff on anybody, and I strictly use this stuff for my own personal reasons. It's always
Well,
a
and
meditation
that's all it's
session
there
for
for.
me.
Yeah.
Right, and
Well,
that's
some
what it
people,
should be.
yeah,
In
but
the end of
there's
the day-
idiots out there.
but there
Again,
are- and
we
that's
did-
why I asked-
1 in 4 Americans are fucking morons.
More than that, and that's why I was asking: is it like were you taking them socially? That's why you kind of take like a smaller dose so you can get the bump, so that way you're out with your buddies and like you go to Six Flags and you take mushrooms, like that type of shit. Like I don't do that type of stuff.
No.
But a lot of people do. A lot of people
Yeah,
take
oh, yeah.
mushrooms and they go
Oh, yeah.
parties and
Oh,
shit. Like
yeah.
that's not how you use these things, and that's why.
Well, I did see one thing where this one dude does have a better quality of life
That's
when he microdoses.
Yeah, but that's perfectly legit. I
Yeah.
accept that. Like that microdosing, you can't even deny it if you
No.
do it at the right pace and all that stuff. But I'm talking about the social use. You know,
Right.
you know what I'm talking
Well, we
about.
were being belligerent back, you know.
And most
Yeah, yeah,
teenagers
yeah.
are, and most people that get their hands on
Like it's
what
not a
they
social
call,
drug.
they're
Yeah.
calling it magic mushrooms. Right away, they don't know what the fuck they're for. They're out to have a good, funny fucking time
Oh,
to
yeah.
see pink
Oh, yeah.
elephants and all that
Yeah,
shit. So, I went through that phase. I think we all did,
Yeah.
and I fell in love with how I felt. But then I realized that all that shit was kind of the same way they sold you what being on weed was like ooh, like
Sinking into the
yeah,
side
like
of
all
a
that.
hill,
It's all hype.
a festival
But
types.
then I realized where I could utilize that psychedelic experience with the mushrooms, and I eventually started reading on Terrence McKenna and listening
Right.
to his lectures, and I figured out
do it on your own and your own.
figured out my own methods and routines, and I fucking loved it.
See, we
and
would
it's
do
made
that
my life
same
better.
type of thing. We'd go out into the woods and just not fuck off, but we would just enjoy. Even through the nighttime, we just enjoy being out there and the colors and the smells.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
What,
I
like,
do it all the
I can
time.
remember
The world looks fake. It's
yeah,
all like
I
a
remember
toy.
laying there one. I don't even remember, like I know this one particular picture that I see because tripping. It's just weird. So if anybody who trips, you know what I'm talking about. We were laying there in this big patch of like, I think it was seagrass, but we weren't nowhere near the sea, and it was just it felt like a carpet, this big thick carpet just moving the reed, like they felt like little thin reeds of grass, and that's all I remember, just sitting there going, what the fuck is this shit?
My
Like,
favorite is always watching the ocean, but it's dangerous because I always want to get in. Always want
I'm
to get in.
so
I've been in the ocean.
scared. I am
Oh
not.
God, it's so.
The waves
it's
are crazy.
it's
It
the
wasn't
worst
big,
thing you can
but-
fucking do. It's the worst thing you can fucking do.
oh yeah, if you go into water, you totally
'cause-
come right out of it.
dude, it's like. No, I might keep going, but my fear is like I'll just keep going, which I have to remember, like I'm like yo, don't go too far.
Oh yeah.
You know, like keep it. Because you
Well,
just like.
I've never gone under. I've been swimming plenty of times while we're tripping, but I never would go under because I saw one of these kids that I knew had a wicked bad trip on some acid, and he was bugging the fuck out. Like, I don't even want to describe it, but one of the kids we were with just grabbed him and dunked him in the pool and held him there. And when he pulled him out, he was like, "Whoa!" And he was out of it, and I could feel his. You know when you feel that energy on somebody, well, especially when you're tripping, like you just feel that aura of something's going on.
Yeah.
His was gone, like he wasn't in the same realm anymore. I was like, that's how you take somebody out of a trip. Like, it's like coming out of a dream.
That's weird. I don't know if that works. I don't know if I don't think that would work.
Well, I've always said if
Maybe not for me.
I've always said and I've always heard.
I've done some
if
weird
somebody's
shit
having a
tripping,
bad
man.
trip, you just dunk them in the water.
I think the dumbest thing I
Splash
probably
your
went to
face
like
with water.
I went to a play. Yo.
Fucking,
I don't know.
It's the worst idea.
I'm good, thank you.
I think, I mean, I don't know, man. I've been, now when I say I go deep, like I can't walk
Well, yeah,
that kind of deep. I don't think dunking me in water is going to do anything besides maybe drown me.
No, it's almost like compared to like the kick in a dream.
Inception.
Not well, yeah, but no, when you really get kicked out of a dream, you know, when you, it's like one of them. You're still tripping, in a sense, but it kicks you out of that bad spot where,
you know,
well, at least what I saw, it looked like anyway.
here's what I can guarantee you. You're not dunking anyone out of a DMT trip.
That's
Maybe
true.
at certain times.
Nope. I can pretty much say that's just one of those things. You're going to have to go through those 5 minutes no matter what. That's why it's 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Because it's that fucking
And
crazy.
that's the thing is, I wouldn't want to take somebody out of that 5 minute.
No, you
With
don't.
the acid, it's it's longer than.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I mean? So at least it brings them out of that spot of where they are for that second. And from what I saw, it changed his old shit. You
Dude,
know what I mean?
I mean,
It is weird though. I mean,
I can say for sure.
I'm sure there's just definitely a spot because I actually that's fucked up. We're talking about this. Something came through on my YouTube shit, and it was this kid. He looked like Carrot Top, Australian guy, and it said, "I'm stuck in a trip." So he was calling his boss, asking him if he had any more work, and he was sorry he didn't come to work for a little while. And apparently, the whole thing, from what I got from the boss, it had been like 6 or 7 months, and this guy thought it was like a couple days. And he told the boss, he's like, "Yeah, mate." He's like, "You remember those fucking double quad micro doses or something?" He's like, "I took 10 of them." "Yeah, mate." He's like, "You got any work?" He's like,
Yeah, I got time on my
his
hands.
buddy's like, he's like, "Yeah, man, it's been a while." Like, he's like, "Nah." And he's like, "But we should get up pretty soon, and hopefully you come out of that." And he's like, "Yeah," and he's like, and you could tell he was fucking lost.
Damn.
Lost. That, I mean, I've taken a lot of acid in my life, like at once. We were tripping for a long time, like over 24 hours, but that riding it type of thing, like hardcore 8-9 hours, and then the rest of it was just like,
Yeah.
Okay, when is this gonna fucking stop?
The famous question: am I tripping still?
yeah, exactly.
Am I still tripping?
And at that point, and this is what's awesome, if you take a black light, and just use the black light, and get a box of Ritz crackers, and fucking take the individual cracker and fucking zoom it through the air, they glow in the black light green, number one.
What?
And
Disgusting.
When they fucking hit the fucking wall, it's just little green shit, looks like UFOs. I mean, I'm sure if you did it not on
It would-
psychedelics,
yeah, I
it
got
wouldn't
you, I
look
got
as
you,
cool.
I got
But
you.
it's definitely cool to say the least. So if anybody gets to try that, definitely I recommend that. But that's what made me know I wasn't in that hardcore part anymore, because it wasn't, I don't know, becoming as cool, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know. Especially when you go that long. I don't know what I ate, but it was a chunk of paper, maybe 1.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch strip. But it wasn't perforated.
I'm so lost.
Because you was on your phone.
If I had to
I'm
guess,
fucking
it was
high
at
as
least
hell.
fucking 6 or 7.
Did we already talk about doing DMT and shit?
A little bit.
No, like before on other episodes. Have we ever talked about
Nope.
psychedelics?
No.
No,
Yeah.
we've talked about psychic, but we not like, I don't know if I think I mentioned it, maybe not like this, not like in this amount. No.
I'm sure we here and there, but not like this. No way.
I mean,
I would remember.
it
telling me
No,
something.
not
completely-
like this.
it completely healed my fear of death. I was legitimately.
Did you see the lady?
No.
I saw a lady, and she reassured me that everything was good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't see anything.
I don't know who she was. It was a lady, mostly a face, like a gray face.
I didn't
was
see
in
anything.
ano-
It scared
I
the
was
shit out of
definitely
me.
in another world though. When
Like,
um,
whatever you fucking thought, nothing.
it wasn't DMT though.
Man,
I was on ketamine.
I still have like. Yeah, isn't that a horse trank?
Yeah.
Special K.
Cat, horse, bull.
Which is a horrible name,
whatever.
because it's the same thing with this fucking cereal too. Or the company really fucked up by naming the cereal that shit. Special K. That's
No,
the
that's-
weight loss one too.
That's what we ended up calling. it
Yeah,
for
it's
some
fucking
odd
K-
reason.
Yeah, because
K-hole.
so that you can. It's like a code word, you know.
Yeah,
K-hole?
yeah, no, it was a code word for.
Some
So
special- We're gonna have
cereal?
some Special K cereal tonight. You want to have some?
Well, it's
you got-
ketamine. So
No, I'm talking
K.
about where.
Special
Never
K.
mind.
Special
ketamine?
K.
Forget it.
Well, because when you got ketamine,
I know it's a code, but that's a bad like you know that
I thought you said-
everybody knows the Special K cereals for like fat people to fucking lose weight and be like, yo, these skinny little dudes. Want to
yeah,
eat
but it was a
Special K?
fad. It was a fad. It was like even none of those people
Never did it.
Yeah,
I've never done that shit.
I've done a lot of it.
I've done like a lot of eat.
But that's when I saw
I've-
I saw the lady.
I've
and
done
she
one chemical, one DMT.
Yeah.
I've never done any other
I
pills.
know
no,
I've done-
no coke, none of that shit. Never
I've
done
done
anything.
every chemical
done
there
coke.
is except heroin. I mean, I've done. Obviously, I've eaten rolls and shit, so I've obviously had opiate or heroin in my system, but I've never like snorted it or fucking injected it or none of that bullshit. But I've done every other drug except for peyote. I've done mescaline. I've done.
Did your
everything.
stomach hurt from laughing so much?
My stomach would hurt from tripping, from laughing. My face would hurt the next day. For days, your stomach would hurt from laughing. Oh, fuck
Jesus.
On
yeah.
mescaline?
Mescaline, acid, mushrooms. I used to laugh so hard on mushrooms. Just at nothing. Just we would be just like, yeah, like done. That's it. You're done. And, like, that's it. You're for a good 5 minutes laughing, and then something else comes
single
up.
Fucking time I'm done tripping on mushrooms, I am like, that is the best.
Okay.
This is the best.
Yep. Acid was like that too. It was just not as clean, you could tell.
Well, I just love the next day after mushrooms where you actually would get the reset. I would feel that reset in my brain where it would just be like, all right, new world,
Yeah.
new start,
Yeah.
new life.
There's new shit coming. This is a different day.
Just the colors
Yeah.
would be a little more vivid.
Yeah.
Everything was just a little more in tune.
Resets.
It's crazy.
I think it's needed too, and I ended up hearing like there's a little bit more into like trying to reset your system. Like a lot of like every other organism out here, they end up doing something to kind of like refresh their immune system like that. Except us, it's something dealing with our diets that technically we're not supposed to eat every single day. What animal almost eats like every single day? Unless it ends up being something that they're eating that is very low in protein, like pandas. For example, they're eating leaves. One of the worst things for something like it's not, so they got to eat a ton of it in order to like get what they would end up doing from like a few pork chops and some beef or some shit like that. So to possibly end up resetting your immune system, you don't eat for 3 days. and then you just kind of like it just kind of refreshes your whole immune system, like, you know, from that. I've only heard it as a, you know, as a few people trying it, and that's true, but you know, obviously it's got to be, you know, data documented, all that stuff to actually be like, well, yeah, that's kind of true, and actually, you know, blood work and all that shit to like if it actually does work. And
you probably got to do more too, like your lifestyle has to change.
Well, that's what makes you.
Well, that's
lifestyle change when you finally click a little bit. When you know what I mean.
But you can't just quit for 3 days and then think
something.
No,
boost
right,
up, why not?
right.
Why can't we do that? Wounds, we end up, we actually, you know, we end up closing our wounds.
So you
we
tell
end
a
up
fat person,
like that.
you tell a fat person, lose 5 pounds.
No, that's different. That's physical matter. I'm talking about like within your actual like
Chi
molecules and like your
said,
actual blood white cells and stuff like that. That, you know,
Yeah, but
because you're
wouldn't-
such in that kind of like, you know, I haven't eaten 3 days starvation, that your body is forced to actually produce extra, like, you know, immune and protection.
Yeah, I
to,
understand,
you know?
but if I would
And
think
now
if
the
you're
old
trying
ones
to,
die off because they're already weak, and now new ones are born because they end up replacing each other. And once the old ones, because eventually they end up getting too old, too fucking decrepit, blah blah, and the old ones end up, you know, kind of, you know, dissolving into like that, and a new one comes on, and to force like a hard, you know, shock to your system to make it pop out a whole bunch more.
yeah,
Again, it's just some theory that I heard. It's potential.
no, it makes sense. But
I've been
it's
asking
just-
doctors.
I'm-
They have no, you know, like, that's a lot.
All,
You know.
I mean is, don't do that and think you can just keep eating fucking hot dogs and hamburgers
Yeah.
and.
Agreed.
Well, that's what I mean by like it's more than
You're
just.
Right. You're right.
It's a lifestyle. Like you gotta really be in tune with what you're trying to get achieved. Like if you're trying to be healthier, you can't just like meditate or do yoga and think that's what makes you healthy. Like it's you gotta eat well, you gotta think well, you gotta be well everywhere. Like it's full cycle.
Yeah. Come fresh out of yoga class like an asshole with your mat, bumping into people.
Yeah.
It's like, dog, really? It's like, you obviously just fucking came from there, you dumb shit.
You can't come out of yoga class and then go to fucking Johnny Rockets.
It's right next door, though.
no shit.
But it's right next door. I mean, what else am I supposed to do?
Well,
That's why I go to yoga class for that.
Everybody's like, well, I went to yoga, so I can have a burger.
I wonder how many
I just
people
won't
go to
have fries
yoga
and a
because it's
soda.
called like that's. I
the
go to
thing
yoga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to say that they go to yoga.
A lot of assholes.
A lot of assholes.
A lot of assholes. God. You don't need to go to class to do fucking yoga.
I've only done it twice.
Like the real people that I know do yoga, they do it on their own. They're not in class in fucking formation.
Oh, I'm not even.
Yeah, as far as
they
like people
say-
that actually like do it for.
They
like,
say
you know,
it's 80% is what goes in your mouth. If you, it is
Vagina.
basically everything. Because in
Why would
turn,
you eat?
pause.
China. It's your governor, China, right?
Why would it makes sense? Because you know, if you eat a shit ton of stuff, you're not gonna be healthy. You're not gonna feel healthy. Your brain, it's just not gonna be right. If you eat healthier stuff, you're gonna feel healthier. Your mood's gonna be better. You know what I mean? So
Think-
that whole thing is like a.
Bring it down to the cellular level. Think about your cells. If you're not powering up the cells,
I was just talking about this.
and the rest of the body on top of
Yes.
that, it all has. You gotta.
I tell my kids, feels like, yo, food and proper fuel is fuel.
Look
There's
at
dirty fuel and there's
monks.
clean fuel.
You ever seen monks?
Love them.
You ever see those?
Fucking
you know,
love monks.
They,
Monks like bald
well,
monks,
just
monks,
just
orange
Asian,
road
mostly
monks?
Asian people like that culture.
Buddhism and Taoism.
No, the whole Asian community really. They the way they eat is crazy, right? They eat rice.
A lot of
They
yes.
eat weird seafoods that are good for you that we would never eat. Which number one of them is
A lot of it's somewhat.
sea cucumber. Now I know if you
That's
know
true.
sea cucumbers, they look gross. If you touch them, they ejaculate some shit. It doesn't look right. But these things are scientifically known to regenerate cells and help with regeneration of new cells
Yeah.
and stimulation of, because what happens with us when our cells die, like you said,
Yep.
it's tougher and tougher and tougher and tougher over the years for them to come back the
Right.
way they used to. So that's why
Makes
we
sense.
get older and that we eventually can't make any.
It's actually all gravity's fault too.
I'm sure it plays a part in a lot of it. Yeah,
That's why you end up, you know, like in space.
But
you end up aging
the thing,
slower.
the thing I believe is these not motherfuckers, but these people in our human society eat these certain things, and you look at them. They all look. They all look. From one age to another, they look the same. They're fine. And even there's
Like they stop aging and
100-year-old and 105-year-olds of them that look fucking great.
They said the biggest concentration of 100-plus-year-olds is in Japan, and they looked as to why they
It's
end
because
up,
of what
you know,
they
like
eat.
that.
It's
Ends up
80% of what you eat.
what they eat, and a lot of cardio, just walking around and actually, you know,
They
like,
do a lot of Tai Chi.
and you know, still
Yeah.
something with the rice and stuff like that ends up being small
A lot of
pieces of food
spiritual-
versus what we end up doing when we end up
spiritual
like
stuff.
engulfing like a sandwich or a burger,
A big
like,
chunk
big
of meat that just sits in your fucking stomach.
It just
That's
makes
why-
it harder to digest. You
Yeah.
poop. You're
And
ripping
that's
your
also
asshole.
why, if you ever notice, whenever you go to Asian, like even hibachis or whatever, they cut everything up.
Yeah.
So you don't,
Yeah.
you're not ever
So you're
sitting
supposed
there.
to chew 30 times before you swallow, anyways.
That's
Yeah.
why they just have chopsticks.
Well, because
I fucking love
And the
chopsticks.
stuff most of the stuff they eat's raw.
I tell my little girls to do with the chopsticks.
A lot of, well, not most, but there's a good percentage of it that's raw that they eat. So it doesn't take much. It's like done. A little mush. A little
You can't
pate.
if you have like hot hands, like warm hands. You can't be a like a sushi chef because it'll.
Well, yeah, you
potentially
see
cut
them.
in
They're
the
always
leg.
holding the rag. It's cold.
They gotta keep cold hands.
They have a cold
Yeah.
rag on a cold plate.
I got
That shit's
I
an
got hot
art.
hands.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
can't do it.
I love it. I've been getting more and more into it, eating that way, and I've noticed a difference. I just need to find more spots that aren't so fucking far.
That's
where I
yeah.
live
So
is- you
that's
know what I mean?
another.
It's
That's
like-
a lot of issues for a lot of people trying to eat healthy. Costs a little bit more money, and there's very few spots that actually you can say that it's not called Whole Foods because it's like natural because the
Honestly-
name is natural. Not because
honestly,
it is natural.
Eating healthy, if you have the room, with just a little bit of room, even outside or inside, you can sustain yourself for goddamn near no money.
One
You
of
just need seeds.
one of the biggest life changers you'll ever do is stop drinking shit. Just drink water.
I drink a lot. We drink a lot.
So many
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are
yeah.
drinking fucking Gatorade is garbage.
water.
Fucking
Oh, yeah.
soda. Oh, but I drink diet so. You're drinking acid. You're drinking garbage. That is
Yeah.
not supposed
You're
to be
drinking
consumed.
something
And
that'll
actually, too,
eat
it
a
depending
penny.
on so now
It will eat a penny.
No,
to
now we're talking
nothing.
about different with the bottled water because now they talk that they
Yeah, the
found
plastic.
the recycled plastic specifically would end up actually emit some kind of like
Yeah, it's leaching into the water. It's
Right.
it's what's it called?
Micro somethings.
no, that's actually with the micro beads. That's with
With
our
the soaps.
sewage.
That's with the soaps.
Yeah, that our sewage, and that's actually being put
Well,
onto the
and our
ocean, and
clothes.
the fish are fucking eating it. Blah blah blah.
Our clothes now, like especially girls' fucking yoga pants. Those things are horrible. They say
Yeah.
that fucking shit that the
The
pants
mesh.
are, that the pants are made of.
yeah.
It fucking gets into the water, and then we put it into our shit tanks, and then that makes it into the oceans.
I want.
They're finding it. They're finding these particles in the fish we're eating
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
already. So think of that.
Yoga pants.
We're fucked, dog. We're just fucked. Everybody grab your balls and just admit it.
Man.
Well, if you yes, but everyone's always trying to look for a fucking way to feel better. I'm telling you right now, just drink water. Switch that up. Just that alone, you'll lose weight. You'll actually feel better. Stupid
Definitely
little
better,
trick,
yeah.
but
Yeah. The
Seriously.
thing about that is, as soon as you drink something else on accident, say, that's all that's there. You don't have any more water or whatever. You're somewhere and you feel like having a fucking whatever. You feel like fucking dog shit.
you end up that's when you can start to feel it
I
because you've
know.
actually cleansed
I
your
know.
system, and
I
it's
know.
like
I hate that feeling because I got a headache and shit. That's why I got a fucking. I got a low fat muffin. Whatever.
I was in a
I can
rest
tell the difference for
I was
sure.
in rest today and I ate a fucking foot
Different
long
tasting, but
Subway
still.
sandwich.
I know I'm not gonna
It's
get a
fucking
fucking
horrible.
headache from eating all that sugar of fucking something.
yeah,
of
sugar
fucking-
sugar feeds cancer cells, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So yeah,
DMT.
Eat shit, yeah. DMT.
DMT. is the shit.
DMT and eat sugar. Never.
cancer. And sunblock apparently.
Psychedelic.
It's not the fucking sun. It's the sunblock that's making it the weird reaction on their skin. That's actually
believe it.
supposedly just get in the shade. It's fucking hot. The sun burns.
You know what that is?
What percentage of consumers in the world actually investigates what they're putting on their body? They just look at the label.
1%.
They look at the label. Like,
Yeah, and they don't Google what the words they just read.
they don't even think to do that.
That sounds cool.
They don't even think.
Oh, I know what that is. That's that stuff.
You just have in your head, oh, this is
It's like
shampoo.
lard. It's definitely like lard.
This is soap.
It's pig.
Yeah.
pig
This is
cum.
this is toilet cleaner or whatever. They don't.
What was it for a while in the 90s? Everything had pig cum in it.
What?
Pig semen. Apparently, like everyone was telling me that a lot of shit had like pig semen in it.
No.
Never heard that in my life.
No.
Nope.
I mean,
What? Like
we eat fish
food?
eggs. No, and like products.
No, I've never heard that one.
No.
You know as well as I do that when it comes to trying to stop aging, people have put quite a number of shit on their face
Oh yeah, I guess so.
and
All right.
continue to do so.
Think about this too. All right, that's absolutely right. And think about all right. We've actually, and still do, eat octopus.
Yeah.
How did that Who's the person that figured that shit out? Like,
Somebody was hungry enough.
But
There
it's
wasn't
just-
fish and caught an octopus.
no, and lobster, all that shit. I understand how. I'm just saying it's crazy how. Think of all the things that have been eaten that you go, no, can't eat that. Like all of the non-delicacies that have been eaten by people because
Right.
obviously every single fucking thing has been eaten to be tested.
Everything. And we already know what's good and what isn't. What's poisonous, what
But
isn't.
someone had to find out about all the bad shit.
I think I'm waiting for the dude that can actually like make penguin a delicacy, because they said it's the worst fucking thing to eat. It is horrible, 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 horrible.
I watched Andrew Zimmerman.
Who?
Those Andrew Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Catch
Andrew
those
Zimmerman?
fucking puffer fish,
Yeah.
poofer fish, or whatever. But they're
Yeah, like
puffin.
poisonous.
Puffin.
Yeah.
They're almost like penguins, and he said they're really good. So never know.
No, it said like it's not. Well, that I think like there's poisonous. Like penguins is just like because all that fat, it just tastes horrible. It's
No,
like
not the poofer fish. Puffins.
puffin fish.
Yep, no, just puffins.
I thought
It's a
puffins were
bird.
birds.
It's a bird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they
small
look-
birds.
Yeah, they look like a relative of
They eat
a
them in
penguin.
like the Norwegian
small,
area.
Small penguin.
Well, I guess it gets. Alright.
So
It's like a
It's a
Norwegian
delicacy.
delicacy.
So now, yeah. So now, depending on what penguin,
and you gotta think penguins have a lot of fat content.
a lot.
So-
And you would think that'd be like something to like use, maybe
If you-
possibly.
if you
Like
can-
whale blubber has been used
Oh, I'm
with
sure you
all
could-
kinds of different stuff,
any blubber.
but you don't really hear about like penguin blubber.
Any blubber. Any blubber.
Oh, this is a new shit right now. I'm
They've
about to
used-
cook some
yeah,
eggs
I
with
think
some
they
like
used-
penguin blubber.
I think they've
Let me
used
get
it
some-
from polar bears too.
Yo, I know a guy. He can get you 2 pounds of penguin blubber. Do you want some?
I
Cook
want
up
some
some
whale
burgers.
blowhole. I heard that's a delicacy.
Blowhole. Woo! That sounds.
You
I
cook
had
that up.
octopus the
You
other
cook that up like a roast.
It was so
It's
fucking
on a
good.
spit.
But you just core it. You just core out the blowhole. You just let the whale go.
You
just-
stuff it with
you just-
corn, maybe some stuffing.
Yeah, anything.
You.
But all you need is the blowhole. The rest of the whale can, just
That's
let that
fucking.
drop.
It would be really long though. It'd probably be like about 5 feet or some shit like that, right?
That's a huge
That's a fucking
roast.
because they're huge holes. That's a huge hole.
Oh, it's gotta be as big as your arm, I guess.
You see,
Do you
did
wonder
you see Costanza
has
going?
a
Gra-
whale?
Oh, was it Kramer?
A dude
No,
whale
Costanza
ever
did it.
by mistake sticking his dick in a blowhole
Probably not.
You
Don't
got
think?
A you don't got a penis
by
big enough.
accident?
Oh, yeah, by
You
accident.
weird shit has happened. You see, like mothers like, wow, this is like that was weird.
Yeah, but typically, a retarded animal doesn't reach maturity. Typically, they don't have protective systems that kind of
Shit
don't bother
happens.
him.
Yeah.
You know, they floating around, they're diving
Elephants,
together.
maybe.
And
Yeah, by accident, I think it definitely has happened for sure. The
I don't
world
know.
is old enough.
I don't know
A whale
about-
has
I don't
definitely
know.
fucked.
Shit.
I don't know if
And
you can
boom.
use the words by
That's how-
accident.
That's how whale head was
With
invented.
something like that.
That's whale head is through the
Because
blowhole.
you didn't trip, slip, fall on its blowhole. Come on. Like, That was definitely
Slipped it in.
that was on purpose for sure.
He just
Purposeful-
dove a little faster.
Purposeful penetration, the old PP.
Or maybe,
Oh my god.
or maybe his buddy was getting the real end, and he's like, we
He
just swim
didn't
by."
have the girth, pal.
Yeah,
To
he got-
you, that was like throwing spaghetti down a fucking
You know,
hallway.
that
but-
whale-
Or how about her? She's like, not that hole.
She sealed it up, clinched down.
Wrong hole, asshole.
I'm gonna choke you right down your blowhole.
I'm
All right.
pregnant. I was only in your
Oh,
ass.
man.
That wasn't my ass.
Let nature be nature. I want to swim with dolphins when out in nature, like not in some like resort shit. It's just weird.
More animal delicacies. Armadillo armpits.
Armadillo armpits?
Yeah.
Polar bear paws.
Polar bear paws. But this is, remember,
They're about
we're
to
just
be gone.
taking this part of the animal and saying,
honestly,
fuck you to the rest of the animal.
They're just fucking brown bears that evolve into fucking white.
No,
bears.
you can't say that. That hurts me a lot.
That's why this is horrendous.
It's horrendous, is right. When you said that, I was like, no.
Yes.
Yo,
Because
listen.
in my head, it's like pre-programmed to like make sure I have everything. Like if I could take the bones, I'm using them.
Owl scalps.
Yo,
You just take the little
No,
scalps.
because
and
I
fry
want
them
the
like little
breasts.
chips.
I want the
that's
breasts.
a little bit of skin though.
I want
That's
those
a-
breasts.
That's a chip.
Yeah.
It's like a chip.
You got to take an animal's most
I
prized.
would get mad when I
prized
killed a
power.
duck or a goose,
Like-
and I had to leave the like the
cheetah
carcass.
paws.
Cheetah leg.
Cheetah paws.
Cheetah thigh.
cheetah
thigh.
skin.
Nice little.
Ooh.
Cheetah thigh?
No, just take his paws.
Rhinoceros horn.
Yep.
Ooh.
Dude, it tastes like that's nail. It's the same thing as our nails.
No, you just
That's
grind
why
it
they're
up.
like it's supposed to be sexual. It's
You
like it's
grind
not.
it up and
It's like
you
dude,
put
it's
it in
just
some
like
fucking
you're snorting nail.
facial stuff for women. You grind that stuff up.
It's like if you put.
Or
this on
how
your
about this?
face,
How about this?
you're gonna look
You just
big.
carve into it these things that you really like, and then you just rub ink all into it and put it as decoration.
Well, I mean, they made ink. They still do. You know, even like how they make you can make ancient inks out of like beetle like carcasses, like a dark red and stuff like that. These old ancient ways to make these dyes.
It's called scrimshaw. Well, not making the ink, but doing that.
How about a parakeet retina goulash?
Jesus
no
Christ.
beak.
Just thousands of retinas.
Thousands.
Thousands of redness.
Now you're going overboard. I thought it was like one eye.
No, think
retina.
about how small a parakeet is.
And you just take the retina,
Just the retina. And you want to make a
boil it up.
goulash out of it.
Boil it up, and make some goulash.
Or how about the
No, How about
the little stakes that hold the crab's eyes? You know that little fucking
Yeah.
No.
Just those.
How
Just
about
those. Soup.
elephant trunk kebabs?
Ooh, chopped up
Yep.
trunk.
Little between some onion, maybe some apples.
Mhm.
You know, between like just kind of give it some like wood chip type of thing. You know?
That might be good actually.
Mm.
If the elephant just died of natural causes.
87.
And you got it right away.
I don't know.
Like Bear Grylls.
No, we were
apparently
just
does.
talking about it. About like who do you think will win? An elephant or a hippo?
Hippos
the
are
hip-
fucking
the hip-
vicious, but elephants will just stomp.
So
Well, the thing is, the hippo will go after the elephant. The elephant's smart enough to go away. He knows, like, I'm gonna get hurt real bad.
Elephants
I might
are,
win, but I'm gonna get hurt real. The elephants are smart. They don't fight hippos. They just walk away. I'm out.
Right. In
But-
nature, but I guess if you're putting them in a cage,
The elephant will probably win. Yeah.
yeah, it's just gonna stomp.
I don't know. That hippo might get them teeth underneath that elephant.
But still, eventually that thing will just lay on it. Hippos are fucking scary.
they're fucking huge.
Have you ever seen those videos of them chasing people in
Yeah,
boats?
they, and you see
their
in the
nighttime
water
is like the
moving
worst.
behind.
It is.
It's
It's
like,
like
no
a missile.
joke. And they tell you,
No
it's
joke.
like, you said we can't go in the nighttime. It's like, why? It's like hippos. It's
Yeah.
like, I was like, no, seriously.
You
Like,
think
out
they're
of
gonna say
nowhere.
lions and no?
No,
Yo,
hippos.
hippos that kill most
Yeah,
people,
because
yeah.
they.
So
all they do
this is
pop
where-
their eyes up in there. There.
This is where my godson, like, we went back and forth, just like,
It's like, oh shit!
And that's underwater.
Fuck that.
Water.
Fuck.
Imagine
That
on
shit.
land.
Nope.
They're pretty quick.
Fuck
on land.
Africa.
so this is what.
Well, yeah, you see these motherfuckers on fucking Naked and Afraid. They're out in Africa right now. all
Yeah,
of
that's
them.
just so fucking funny.
bro. But still, it is funny. But they're
You just
fucking-
gotta move away from the water to get away from the fucking bugs. They're so stupid.
What, the dude that got malaria?
That's first. That's
A
first.
lot of them get
that's-
sick, right? So they end
that's
up being
first
naked and
world
afraid,
shit.
right? They record you being out there, and you just gotta survive for like
I'm
21
talking about
days.
these legit
But-
fucking hyenas and fucking tigers and not tigers.
Yeah, bears.
Lions and
Actual bear. There was one with a bear. It's just fucking funny. Yo,
Well,
she's like,
I'm talking
oh my
the
God,
one
I'm
in
so scared.
Africa.
She's recording side. Oh my God.
they're in Africa in this little fucking thorn patch with a little tiny hole that's got water off in the distance that they can go to.
Worst place
But
to go.
dude, like, well, no shit, but that's the only spot, and they go.
No, it isn't.
But is it real? Because
I don't know,
like,
but
everything on TV is bullshit.
either way, they're still there during the day. You see it, and like you see they're there in Africa. It's fucking so even if it's not real at night, that would be weird. Like if they just take them out and bring them somewhere else.
But I
like,
wouldn't be
that's not
surprised.
in Africa.
No,
You know what I mean? Just to be in the middle of the night out there in Africa, no fucking way, dog.
Yeah.
No way.
So
Unless I got like guns and shit. Like that.
So if
I'm not gonna be naked and with nothing,
No.
a little flint
Nope.
and a knife.
Nope.
No, thank
I wouldn't
you.
be naked in fucking Rhode Island
Well, I would go stay out in the woods naked.
for a month.
Well, in the summertime, I'd make it.
Yeah, I'd
For
make
sure.
it, but fuck that.
Well, I know, but I would for money to be on a show. Sure.
For
So-
like 10 G's.
Yeah, so
How much
the
money
show-
do they get?
Fuck it.
the show is
It's only
stupid.
21 days. By
The
the
show's
way.
stupid because anybody is trying to survive that's naked out there knows that they need to get somewhere. They need to start protecting their skin and so on and so forth. These dumb motherfuckers sit next to the very worst place. If there's almost no water in the area and you're sitting next to the only watering hole, who the fuck you think is gonna end up coming
Yeah.
there for fucking to end up getting water? Predators.
No shit.
So
That's the
who
whole
else
point.
is also there?
That's the
End
whole
up being
point.
because if it ends up being like not moving water, it also ends up being bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tons of mosquitoes, and you basically end up watching a show.
They have those
of
straws.
two naked people being basically tortured by Mother Nature
Yeah.
for like 21 days.
Yeah, it starts
and it's like
raining
dumb.
and
It's like
shit.
how much can it take? You're getting
They can't
bit
get
up.
fire going.
Like they're like,
some
oh my
of
god,
them,
I don't know if
fuck.
it's, you know, like imagine like just being naked and just like mosquitoes just
I mean, I
biting you
believe
everywhere.
it's
Like
got to be real because
it's they're getting tortured. It's fucking real. This is funny. It's like that's nothing to survive, and it's like they gave him a survival rating. Like any known survivalist like knows not to do stupid shit like that. You're gonna get your fucking self in trouble. And if you're trying
Yes.
to get to point A to point B, you don't. It's like one thing to survive to. You don't stay still. You keep moving to get until you end up getting a little bit more assistance. That's survival. Passing on and keep going. Sitting there for 21 days, they're fucking stupid.
I want to
So it's a torture show.
I want to
It's
see
funny.
the fucking all the footage of all these crazy game shows that never get aired because people died. All these around the
True.
world, all these
That's
different
true.
countries that do some crazy shit, like
True.
all these different
Well, imagine Japan.
or
They have-
documentaries
have
where like they just
fucking-
can't release the documentary because
From back in the day.
no, even now,
Like
like
they
if,
get out now more though than back in the day. Like you imagine,
I don't think so.
we all knew was gonna happen. That fucking tiger was gonna drag Siegfried or Roy. He did one. I forgot which one he did, and he fucking dragged him across the stage by his face.
That's what you call
It-
the Murphy's Law.
So everybody paid that money. And all these tons of years for like what 20-some years,
But
paid all that
that's
money
life.
for somebody waiting to sit like that, and those lucky people got to fucking
yeah,
see
they're
the
the ones
show.
that finally won.
Damn. I
And they
mean,
didn't even know.
he's still alive, so you know, and rich and shit, so whatever.
Yeah, I think
He's playing with
I think
fire, he
he's
got
I
burned.
think he's got more fucking animals too.
He still does. He still got all those fucking, but he just doesn't do the show shit anymore.
There's more tigers in Texas than the rest of the world.
That's fucking wild.
It's true.
So when the end of the world, you're gonna have to be
assholes
careful.
where they really live are a fucking ass. Most of them are assholes, and they just want to kill them. They just where the tigers really live, like Indonesia and India. And
Did
shit
you hear
like
about that time that
Fucking-
this guy
those
had like
assholes just kill
it's
'em.
kind of like a refuge for like performance animals, like you know bears, tigers, like that, and he fucking it shit is wild, yo, right? So the story goes,
Ohio, right?
yeah, that he ended up just one day said fuck it and just
Let
got
everything
into, no, he ended up climbing, let everybody go, and then climbed into the fucking wolf den and had the wolves eat him. So one of the tigers that were like that was actually part of Mike Tyson. That you know they ended up. So rather than trying to capture these animals, they shot them all,
Yeah.
which was like, wow.
I think he let them all go because they were coming to take them all away or something like that. Like
But
it was something like that where like he was
Is
not
that
being
really-
allowed to keep them anymore.
Is that
or
really rational though?
Is it rational to keep those animals in your house, like
No,
your
well,
property?
But
saying.
you know, and then how he
No,
committed
absolutely not.
suicide. He committed suicide by feeding himself to a pack of wolves. Like, not even like one animal to just kind of like, you know, one animal's just gonna go like a bear or tiger's gonna go for your throat and shit like that. You're gonna like that. No, he had a fucking pack of wolves tear him apart.
He might have went quick. Never know.
They don't like.
Don't they start from the asshole?
It's like a lot of like
Or the balls.
a lot of bites. A lot of bites.
Oh yeah.
And then they start like still they like when they eat they're like ripping off like chunks.
Oh, they get into your belly. Then
Still alive.
Yeah, you're still alive.
You still alive for like probably like a good like maybe 3 minutes.
Mad
that's an
respect to the settlers
eternity.
out there who fucking settled this world and actually lived with the wolves and had to deal with that shit. We're
That's
so
why
lucky.
like what was that movie with the
We're just
Leonardo
chilling.
Revenants?
We are just chilling.
That best part was when he's like got like attacked by that mama bear. Holy fuck.
Oh, he kept coming.
That shit was crazy as hell. And that's how it is. Little kids don't think that shit is cute.
Most of the
Trying to
time.
feed the fucking bears trash.
You ever see some of that one guy in, I think it was Colorado. He got fucking mauled and made it back down to his car. He got mauled good too.
We got his face like ripped off or something.
Like yeah, and his arm was
That's
broke
crazy.
and like ripped apart and shit. He was vlogging when he got to his truck. He started doing a vlog. He was all fucking fucked up, and he's like, "Yeah, I just made it. So I don't know if I don't." I think he said something like, "If he doesn't make it, at least it'll be on vlog or something."
Wow.
But he drove himself to the fucking hospital.
Wow.
Crazy motherfucker. He made it too.
Wow.
He got beat up. He said she came, got him, mauled him pretty good, broke his arm, bit him in the arm, broke it, mangled it. He played dead. She left for like 2 minutes, and he opened his eye, and he couldn't hear her or see her, and he got up real quick and started fucking running, and he said about 45 seconds, she fucking came out over the other side of the hill. Like he thought she went the other way, and she barreled ass down at me.
Top speed 35.
He went down. She beat him up again, bit his face and shit. Back of his head, I think, too. Like poked him, and left him there. And he heard her go one way, and he tried to go the other way, which was luckily towards his truck, and he made it to his truck. But he was fucked up in that video. I was like, damn, dog, you are fucked. You're an animal at that, because you just got beat the shit out of by a grown-ass grizzly
And
bear.
survived. So.
And survived and drove yourself to the
It's a
hospital.
cool story, but I don't know if I want to fucking tell it.
Oh, he tells it. Terry, we told it to Rogan and shit.
Jesus.
What do you got there? You got your blood pressure?
I'm just looking at a text message.
Oh, text message.
Sorry.
R2D2.
Business partner. Sorry. Good shit.
That's fun. I know mine. Just
So,
texted me.
yeah,
I
the
don't
fucking
know, I don't know what to make of this.
the
It's kinda
fuckery
weird.
with masks.
I'll read it
Holy
to you.
shit, dude.
So I told
But
him-
Vermont, dude,
so granted-
I'm interested how Vermont. I'm actually now I'm just pushing towards mass, but honestly, I'm also starting to look at what Vermont might be end up doing too, and it might end up being a closer possibility because we would all like to, if we possibly end up doing some business in Maine, could end up being a little bit more freer in a sense, but it's too fucking far, and possibly end up being with Vermont, right over the border type shit, and of course. If you end up looking at some history, Vermont was the original hemp state, as far as so they might end up having just the right thing. They might having a little bit more natural knowledge when it comes to
I don't know anything about Vermont's government politics, so
nobody
I don't-
does. So I'm about to.
I don't know.
I'm interested in that though.
I mean, they just legalized it, but isn't it the same thing? Like Massachusetts legalized it a couple of years ago, but they're still in the infancy of actually writing up legislation and all that shit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
just gotta wait and see what they do. It'll be interesting,
That is
but
weird.
all these places,
They're
it's
so far behind too.
Well, all right. So the reason
They're
that
gonna
mass
catch
is
on
going to
to
end up taking
something or-
possibly a bit longer than some of the other states is that With question 4, they ended up giving a little bit more rights towards the towns and cities, and there's actually 357 towns and cities. So because of that, of course, zoning has to put their own little thing, possibly this and like that. Fire marshal, the police, this and that, and it gives the actual opportunity for the towns to implement every single type of tax provision and permit license perishable thing to get the most out of it for their town and city. Because why every single town and city is struggling with their budgets because of just bad management and this and that, and of course a lot of government waste, like the tons of shit that we spend money on, stupid shit all the time, and continue to do so like it's fucking the norm business. But that's why it's going to end up taking a long time. So now it's about figuring out which towns are a little bit more advanced and figuring things out, how to get things moving. Once it'll start clearing up who's who, while the rest of them slow it up. It's gonna suck. It's gonna fucking suck. It's just sad, This really is. The dispensaries are gonna fucking make out like super bandits. The one thing though that they have to think about though is the transportation, because there still isn't a whole bunch of enough companies to transport from cultivation sites to like that. So they have to be like same building type of thing. And even still, possibly, it could end up being like Las Vegas. I swear to you, with Las Vegas, it ends up being with a cultivation and a and like a retail shop in the same building. But they are not allowed to actually walk it down the hallway. So it could end up being some type of situation like that with Mass because of 357 reasons. And then some.
Well, the reason right now is because they haven't issued those transport licenses and the testing licenses yet. That's really the only holdup.
And the only reason they can't, because the towns have to give their okay, and that's what's slowing up. The towns is what's slowing up.
Yeah, but there's already a bunch of towns that have given the thumbs ups. It's just still everyone's looking at everyone going, "What are you gonna do?" Because everyone's so unsure of what the fuck to do right now.
Yeah, how can we make the most money?
Oh no, people trying to get in are afraid of jumping in and wasting all the money. So you got a bunch of people that are just waiting like to see what other people are doing, and because Mass is trying to be proactively more fair than the other. Well, I don't know how you.
That what they thought about. So look, I think that within Mass, happened what happened with almost every single time that it's gone legal. As far as for commercial sales,
they don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do, right? So they, they end up
They try and follow Colorado.
So they end up
Washington.
fucking it up or adding a new this or new that. It's man, I'm fucking high.
Well, they haven't fucked up yet. They're taking their time, so it's the only thing that they've fucked up on is actually giving a timeline. That's what they fucked up on. That's their biggest problem. Because
because they don't know yet.
Even still, it's just a
There's no
delay
one in
too.
there
Because
that knows
if you
anything.
remember,
That's what I mean. Like they're not educated about.
but they're not, like, I would say Rhode Island fucked it up. There's no free market approach to any of it. At least Massachusetts is really trying to develop a free market. They're making sure all these little cafes and nail salons that want to have a cannabis product, they're making sure all that shit is getting figured out before they just say, okay, let's do this. And then you got all these people applying, and they're like, wait a minute, we got to think about that again. So, I mean, I think
they have like a 50. They don't have like they've actually like a metal like the actual like check boxes.
Huh?
As far as like the list of people, it's not for like different things. It's not a lot simply because all of the local loopholes that they've haven't been having.
What are you saying?
They're like you're saying they're waiting for them. The commission.
I lost you. They're waiting. Who's waiting? The people are waiting. The companies are waiting.
Yeah, everybody's waiting for them to just like okay.
Well, because they don't want to break the law.
But that's what federally they're all breaking the law.
That's why they're carefully setting up all this legislation. They
What
fucked
does
up
it
by-
matter how much? It doesn't matter if you can end up carefully picking it up with a fucking needle. It's still illegal, federally. No matter how fucking loose or stringent you end up making it.
That's why I've said from the beginning. Make it legal federally. It's
So,
simple.
so
But
for
it's
example,
not legally federal. I mean, it's not.
No, I know.
It's
but
not federally
that's
legal.
what they need to do before they do anything
but it's not.
else.
But it's not right now,
I know that.
and the state can't make that happen.
States can.
they're
And that's
just-
why they're playing on their own rules. So
Yeah, no.
you know, if
I get it.
you know, if the Supreme Court they decided to bring that
But
to
are
the
they-
Supreme Court and
yeah,
decided
are
to like,
they-
look, it's federally illegal. These states are doing federally illegal shit. They all need to stop. The Supreme Court could simply like, they're right. It is federally illegal. All these states should,
yeah,
you
but
know,
then the
blah
states
blah.
can get together and say, listen,
So Oklahoma just
We're
passed their
sick of
medical.
fucking
That's
figuring
30
this out with
medical
you guys.
states, and was nine illegal. 30 fucking medical states. That's obviously more than 50% of the states, right?
right.
It's and still they're looking at it like, yo, like, so yes, at any given point, Jeff Sessions or anybody can end up, you know, they can end up, the states can end up resisting from using their resources on helping out the federal government to go against these cultivation sites,
Right.
dispensaries, retail shops,
Right, but the
anybody and
DEA,
everybody.
the FBI,
right.
all them
They
can.
already have their own people. They only need a few people. You can
Yeah.
end up taking over a building with like 6 people. It's not that fucking difficult. If everybody's strapped
they do it.
saying DEA, I got guns, get the fuck out of this room, get downstairs, everybody's gonna comply.
Yep.
You're not gonna be like, you know, fuck you.
This is my right.
All right, you might
Pop,
get
pop.
you might get popped, you might
Whoop.
get beat, you
You
might get
just got two
some.
taps.
What does this have to do with Massachusetts fucking up? I don't get
No,
it.
it's just
What I'm saying is
It got
that
off.
rather
got
than
off.
taking this little baby step type of approach, and the way they ended up setting question 4, there's no other way around it. It's going to happen that way because that's how. Because somewhere along, I think that they ended up thinking that giving more power towards, well, you know, towards the municipalities and the way they wrote it was, you know, the best way to, like, you know, keep everybody happy. But it actually opened it up 100% to be more politicized and more fought over because every single town and city, 357, have the specific right to start at minimum 3% and can go up if they feel like it. Right?
It's a 3% 5-year. They can't go up. But you can,
but it's the
if you want to
state.
appease them, if
Yeah.
you might want to say, oh, we'll give you 5%.
Right.
But it's, you know, the mandatory 3% for 5 years.
Right.
There's no question about it. But
Yeah, that's
So-
that's what you have to accept because it's state law.
Right. That's how they ended up writing it, and that's how they ended up voting it. So that's why kind of like the state officials ended up were really pissed when this passed because it took the power away from them, and it gave it down to the cities and towns. But that's where also the problem lies because now, like, you know, it's just even more opinions to actually appease and come up with like
Well,
a
and I
general,
think
like,
the states have to
True, but-
appease the government also by giving them a piece to be able to do the banking, the this, the that.
yeah,
the
it
whatever.
sounds fair,
You know
but
what
how
I'm
does
saying?
how does this
because
work?
how
It'll-
else is it gonna? I mean, there's a lot of motherfucking businesses out there. People are fucking wealthy and they're paying taxes and being good.
Right,
and
right.
So like, that's what I'm saying in my head with my consulting thing. It's like,
I'm honestly, I'm okay. I'll pay. I would pay
Me
the
too.
3%. I would pay
Me
the 3%.
too.
No
If-
problem. If that's what it takes to get the town or city on my side to make sure that
No,
the
I
police
want it
isn't like,
federal,
look, there's
too.
an illegal place. They blah blah blah. If you have a problem with it like that, we have a phone number we can call a dude that'll completely answer like whatever and any concerns that we have, and we continue with the 3%. Boom, perfect. That's fine. And people are upset to pay for it, but you got. You, in order to get to that point, they still got to figure out what they all want to do. So you got to think about basically like the United States are giving it up to each state to kind of basically do their own thing. Now imagine each town to basically kind of do their own thing.
isn't that kind of what we want in this country?
It's going to take a long time.
Doesn't the local vote matter?
Yes, for local politics, correct.
So
Yes.
if you're putting
especially these type of businesses.
It's about finding the times. There's towns out there that are really great. They're really pushing for it, and we're all encouraging more to follow suit and really stop dragging your feet. Towns and cities are broke as fuck. They have mismanaged their money. Quit fucking around.
This is the modern
Quit
gold
delaying. Quit delaying.
Yeah.
They're the delay.
rush. They know that
We're ready.
This is the only industry that can be in every single state. It doesn't require a particular resource where like oil and steel are here because this is where it's mined, or this
Right.
particular part of the country is going to boost. No, every single state can thrive off this. That's why they're being very, very fucking particular on how they set everything up.
Yeah, so they
I
thrive
feel-
the most.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused too. It feels like California grows a lot of their weed outdoors
But what they don't understand is
or
if
in
they
like
do too
greenhouses.
much,
So
then
where
it's
does
not
this
gonna
like
be
this
worth
power
it.
surge thing keep coming from? Do most people tend to grow everything indoors? It seems like a lot of people grow their
Well,
shit
there's still a
outdoors
lot of
in
indoor
Cali.
stuff too, though.
Like that enough to like cause all this power thing. I feel like that's
Well,
kind
this
of bullshit somewhat. But I mean, Cali already has power.
Yeah, huge
have already
population.
had power problems
Yeah.
before cannabis became a fucking mainstream thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like they're kind of like giving a little bit something to the cannabis industry to kind of take some of that blame, even though a lot of that shit ends up being grown in greenhouses and like outdoors.
No.
They have that
You
sunshine.
You see these indoor rooms that they're putting up, though. Even
Massive
the
shit.
fucking greenhouses, there's fucking 100 lights in the greenhouses.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But-
Shits.
I'm sure there's a couple of them that are running solar.
Street lamps.
Or like,
I grow my cannabis
once you're
under
on
a
big
street
lots,
lamp.
you know what I mean? It's a lot cheaper from the electrical company if you're on like big amps.
I'm just bringing it back. I just think that I think it's actually a better move putting it into the town's hands, because now you're getting more routes established as opposed to just having counties, or
Yes. Yeah.
you're getting more opinions, yes, but now you're going to have more people who support and fight for it because they're actually
Right. So let's put a positive spin on it, I guess, and because looking at it the other way, that means that there's towns and cities out there that want to actually get into it, but they don't know who to reach out to get the right information. Somebody
to
that can
get
end up making a
educated.
friend and stuff like that. They can't
About
trust the
how it
old
works.
regular people, so people out there have to go out there, introduce yourself. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm trying to blah blah. What are you gonna about? The more you end up just doing that, so they actually can put a face to something that end up becoming normal business. They know the local people that end up having alcohol, or some of the club owners. They know who they are. It's just that's how it ends up being. You have to get your face known.
Yep.
If not, you're not going to get anything passed because they don't know you. You're just some guy that ended up showing up with a freaking application. And even still, you probably have to pay some lawyer that actually a local lawyer that knows somebody within the town and shit like that, to be just a friendly face to say, like, I vouch for these dudes. That's what you're actually paying these people to do, that local person to vouch for you.
There's not a lot of
To
them
like,
doing
but
it.
you got to pay them.
Yeah, there's only a
If
couple.
not, or you do it yourself, which isn't that difficult either. Just go out and like, hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. Da 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 da. You flex. You tell what you want to do, what you've done, how strong, this and that, and that's how it moves forward. But and then you got to sit there and pretend like all their fucking opinion actually matters when it comes to like actually they'll talk shit on some things that had nothing to do with your business, but you just got to sit there. All right, I'll take that into consideration. Blah blah blah. That's it. Just sit there, grin, make nice, get your shit going. But this is so it's encouraged.
Checks
Go
and
out there,
balances.
educate these towns and city officials.
Yeah, it's,
Politely, please,
Education.
politely. Don't be attacking people with like facts. You make somebody feel stupid, they're not gonna fuck with you.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
unfortunately,
a lot of facts that they're not gonna believe.
well, they don't even. I mean, you're talking to town officials who have okayed this, and when you tell them what you're doing, they have no idea what you're talking about. They're like,
Okay, yeah,
they're like a cultivation center. So, what, you're gonna sell weed out of here, or like they don't even know what the words mean, and you're like, this is in your town's like bylaw writing. Like,
They don't read that shit.
No, I know it's crazy.
new.
So
They don't read none of that
read it
shit.
yet.
Yo, it's crazy. They type it up. They don't even. They just.
no, it's crazy. So unfortunately,
It's very cookie cutter. They change the names out and stuff like that.
it's but they're not. They can't. You got to keep in mind they can't change the town's votes. They're just the representative of what the people voted for, and so if the
No,
town's
but-
70-30 for it, they can't sit there and tell you to get the hell out of here because they don't like it. Like they have no choice. So you got to remember that about town officials. They're elected officials.
But even still, with each town is different. Some people, some of the towns, well, the council won't have to vote on it. You end up reaching to like planning, zoning, and that you end up dealing with the commission, and the commission's the one that end up actually voting on it. They'll ask all the regulations: does the town allow this as far as
Right.
our laws and bylaws and all that stuff? Where are they planning to do it? Is like like you would think about like a retail shop or a cultivation. It still ends up being like light industrial. So you're talking about like warehouses, nothing like too like big, not like massive warehouses and stuff like that. Then the classification changed. So you want to you want to go towards the towns that don't have to deal with the elected officials as far as councilmen, because if you go more that route, then you're gonna be dealing with public opinion. And that's where you got to go like massive, big time. They really gotta like you more than likely to be or local preferred to actually do it.
Mhm.
Now, if you go through zoning where they just have to follow the law and the bylaws, regardless of whatever the personal opinion might be, they'll go by that as long as you end up meeting what they need. So
Right.
that's the stuff that you end up having to go to. But in order to know that, you have to go out there and talk to these people, find out, or hire a lawyer to figure
The
out.
zoning is key.
It's everything.
Zoning is key. Or unless you have to do with the council and they have to vote on your shit, then you got to make nice and have everybody like you. This is how it works. We want it to be this thing like that. This is the system that you guys
want
want.
to come at you because
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, "Oh, he's a pot grower. Let's soak him."
Yeah, this is so everybody wants it recreational, but you got everybody forgets. This is the system that we're putting into a fucking shitty system. This is what we want. We're pushing it to be
Yeah,
part
and
of.
to be honest, I've seen it a million times. You can only grow. Yeah, you can grow whatever you want, really, but can you take it down in time? Do you have the team to take it down in time? Do you have
Yep.
the property and the space to hang it all properly and dry it properly and then put it in jars? Do you have that time and space?
That's what I'm saying. The
Do
mids are
you?
coming. The mids are
Really?
coming. The mids are coming.
Most likely, negative. So that's
I don't plan on dropping mids.
no. I'm just saying.
But we're not saying like it's like we can't say nothing's absolute.
Even when they,
because I'm talking about, like,
even
the
when they
norm.
do okay,
not
and they
gonna-
regulate it properly and this and that and everything's good and golden, that now you have to produce because you're already paying it off or already have
Well,
to pay
it just
off
let's just let's just
certain
think about
things
this. We know
because they're coming at you.
Let's just think about this, right? We know what a sort of kind of like quality product ends up being put out by X organizations that don't really know and just end up putting like that. They're called dispensaries, right? We know how they end up like that. Those end up being the very first retail shops that are actually in cultivation shops that are actually out there. The ones that already got improved was 1 and 1 already, right? They end up being already a dispensary and already cultivation site. It's already out there. That's the type of quality they're going to end up putting up for rec, if not worse, because medically you have supposedly a higher standard than you would for rec. God, I hope that each state makes sure that they do that medical, because it's do. Yeah. I mean, obviously we would all prefer that it's all clean so it doesn't matter, but let's be really real. Really real.
Well, listen, if it's fucking clean for rec, it's gonna be clean for med. If it's clean for med, it's gonna be clean for rec. Like that's how it's gonna be.
You don't think that there should be two standards?
No.
But I'm
Clean
sorry.
is clean,
Hold
dog.
on. My apologies. Not doing. Sorry, that dumb question. Right, dumb. You're right. Do you think there are two standards currently?
The only thing that should be the standard is the price range.
No, even that should be the same.
No, but I'm saying if you're
Now-
gonna put a difference between medical and rec, I think the rec should be more expensive than the medical if you're gonna treat it that way.
Yes,
but
I
as
agree
far
with
as
that.
Depending on if
cleanliness-
they can grow the same. They have to be able to grow the same amount.
No, we're talking about for like
You know what I mean?
we're talking about regular retail.
No, I'm just talking about like, because like you're saying, yeah, they got to be clean. Both, there's no different cleanliness for medical. Like, I'm saying, yeah, there should be no testing difference. Everything should be clean, spick and span clean. But I would say the only thing that would separate the two classes would be recreational would be more expensive than medical, because medical is supposed to be, you're a patient. You shouldn't be paying a recreational price for the medicine.
See, that's the thing, is it costs the same. You know that. It doesn't matter. Like, unless you get people that
Then it should be taxed
do it for
differently.
nothing.
Taxed differently.
Well, then
or
there
taxed
should-
differently. I
yeah.
guess.
How about taxed differently? Because it's still, he's right.
Which would be
Clean weed
Which
still
would-
costs the same as med weed, rec weed like that.
Yeah, so the
doesn't-
taxes would be different.
Tax would be
meaning
different,
The
right.
rec would be more expensive to go and retailing buy, and the medical weed.
I don't know. It opens doors for issues.
But that's pretty much what it is in Colorado and all those states. It's the
Well,
same
yeah.
bud on both sides, but on the right door you go in, there's the medical side, and everything's cheaper. The edibles are cheaper. Everything's cheaper, and I think the THCs are higher
In my
on the medical side.
the way I think of it is, it should be all the same. Because
Well, of course,
it's a medicine. You know, it's a medicine. And
That's why I'm trying to just say the only thing that can separate the two
Right,
is
yeah,
if you're
I
trying to
guess.
treat one as a medicine and one, like,
right.
that would be the only thing
They
that you
can-
can do to separate them. Like, there should, like you said, there should be no cleanliness difference. Like, one's not medical grade and one's rec grade because it doesn't pass this test.
Right, and I think a big factor with that too might be like how much each spot is growing compared to the other, because obviously if you grow more, it's tougher to maintain. There might, there's a lot more problems that can arise if they're, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of
but-
factors that come down to that, where like,
But the end user,
if you lose
doesn't
everything,
care about that.
huh?
The end user, the person who comes into the retail shop, doesn't care about any of that. They just, if
Well,
they're
that's an issue. That's one of the issues, I think, is people don't care. That's why a lot of these dispensaries are still above water or all around.
I mean,
Because
why wouldn't they
there's
be?
so
Just-
many
they're
people
making a lot of fucking
that
money.
don't care. Specifically medical people. And we all know the problems that we've brought up about how these cultivation centers run, some of them, or have ran in the past. You know what I mean? Not being clean, stuff, shady shit going on. And this is the reason for regulation, is because there's so much shady shit going on and loopholes in this, and people think, so there's always that fucking like stigma, I guess, that's going to be on it. But you are right in a sense where it would differentiate them in a tax bracket, I guess.
that would be the only fair
Right.
way to actually.
Yeah.
And at that point, now you're going, okay, is it federally legal? No. Okay, so what do we do about that?
Nothing.
We just pay state tax. We don't pay no federal tax. But I have a federal ID number.
Yep.
Am I digging a hole that I should probably stop? I don't get it. Like, it doesn't make any
Millions of
sense.
dollars,
It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's crazy.
It really doesn't.
It's gonna catch up. Is what's gonna happen.
well, no
Because
shit.
you'll be able to very easily, because all the state records are there. How much? All right. So according to all this, you owe.
It's illegal. Like, you.
Once they push federal, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's why I said from the get-go before it became medical. Well, it wasn't quite. It was a little after '96 when I heard it was becoming medical.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you definitely don't want it to become legal, unless it's federally legal, because there's going to be a shit ton of problems. We've been through this with the state, and I am a whole supporter of the states being able to govern themselves. 100%.
Yeah.
But if the government doesn't agree with, like, are they gonna, what kind of infractions are there gonna be? What are the repercussions gonna be? Are they gonna be like you said? Oh well, fine, then you owe us
That's ultimately ends up being money. If you can pay them, they don't care.
I
Yep.
guess.
It's fucking expensive.
I hope. God,
This again.
God, something.
This
I
is
hope.
not what any of us ever thought about and really wanted, but this is what we got. This is what we're getting because we're putting the cannabis into the regular market industry, and we already know that it's fucked up. So this is what we, and then they get to fuck with us from the very beginning.
Well, right, like, all right, so I have a bunch of chickens, and I have a shit ton of fucking cucumbers and squash and this and that and this and that, and I sell it out, and I sell it out in my front yard.
Yeah.
And I do well, right? All year long, I do well. What are they?
Can't grow crops in your front yard.
They're farmers, right? That's considered being a farmer. So you get a tax break for providing these services to the people, right? And having the land.
I think it has to be like a percentage of your land.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
That's
don't
what
know how that shit works.
Well, I mean, me either, but it's still a tax break they get.
Yeah.
So
Well, most
how does that
I
get?
don't think you can have.
How do
like,
you?
the house,
How do they
it takes more
financially work that federally?
percentage of that? It's a little hard.
The government
And even
just
still,
says,
I
"Oh,
think you
there's
might
this."
End up getting like, in some neighborhoods, you might end up getting like a blighted like letter saying like your heart because you're farming in your like front yard, which is, it's
Well,
a way
some-
better use.
Some counties would be like, "Fuck you,"
He's like, you can't do that.
right? Which
Like,
is
you're not-
bullshit.
It's like
It's my
well,
fucking yard. I'll do
yes,
what I
I'm
want.
trying to like.
But I
be
think
healthy.
they know. I mean, are you gonna be able to pay your mortgage selling your zucchinis that you can?
No, but you're growing your own food.
Well, maybe not just zucchini, but all the strawberries and the eggs and the fucking
Hot dogs on a
free-range
stick.
chickens and the everything that I do have on that all combined, possibly. I'm sure that some of them do. Which is, it bugs me out, like, when you think about it. How does that work for them federally? I guess it's, well, and it just popped in my head. You have a federal ID number. You have a bank account. That's it. You put money in it. Whatever money goes into that, you pay tax on. Done. Right? And they don't care. So
Yeah.
that's
And
what
depending on what
I
your
hope.
depending on what your LLC falls under, what codes you're under, I mean, that's what you would be approached with different kind of taxes and shit. So if you're agriculture, there's a whole different range of shit that you would have to qualify for or not qualify for, where they would hit you with different things. So to get those breaks, you probably need to be producing fucking corn or something for them.
The
like,
thing is I've seen it where
Yeah, because they
all
try to
the
make some of
people-
these breaks specific for specific.
in little
Yeah.
in Little Compton,
Yeah.
I know a couple buddies that just put chickens, and they had the tax break, which had chickens on that property, and they got the tax break.
what kind of tax break though? A big one?
Like the farmer's tax break. So many chickens had to live on your property.
Fuck a chicken, yo.
had to have
Those things are
coops.
fucking vicious, man.
No, they're not.
They're fucking assholes.
If you raise them that way.
No, if you don't feed,
you
if,
get 'em
if you
from
forget
littles-
to feed your chicken for 2 days, they'll fucking kill the
Hey,
weakest
if
one.
I forgot to
Idiots.
feed you for 2 days,
we're gonna eat one of each
you're
other.
gonna come at me and be like, "Yo, where's my fucking food, motherfucker?"
No, no.
Or
what
bring
I'm
me
saying
to
is
go
like,
get food.
You don't. You know,
Or
we don't
I'm
eat
out.
for 2
I'm going
days.
to get food.
We're gonna eat one of us gonna get eaten.
If you were
Who's it
used
gonna
to me feeding you
And
for
they're
fucking your
assholes,
life
man. They're
for a
assholes.
year,
Fucking.
I know they can be. They
They
come at you with them
They be
talons.
destroying
I swear
the
to God,
fucking the
raptors,
gardens, man.
Velociraptors is what turned
Yeah.
into is what birds are
Gigantic
now.
chickens.
Like,
They said that
That's where it stems, 'cause they got them fucking
those
claws,
raptors-
all them birds got them
the
fucking claws, man.
velociraptors, the arms. They said that that's just movie bullshit. That more than likely they were. You know, we already knew that they had feathers, so it'd be like feather type, like small wings,
Absolutely.
not like be able to
Yeah,
fly.
not fly, but
just
definitely
like-
move quick.
Like
Super
a fucking
fast.
ostrich. with
Ostrich,
fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
we're like,
And that's the ones that are closest, I think.
Yeah.
The ostrich. Definitely. Since they got them fucking backwards legs.
yeah, but
Big ass legs.
Big ass backwards legs.
ostriches
The-
are stupid as fuck and suicidal.
They're mean. And they bite and they
Suicidal.
come at you with that fucker.
What's not suicidal? Everything's suicidal.
I've never seen one actually
Humans are
dig its head
suicidal.
into a hole. But before we get off on another tangent, I think that was quite enough time. Apparently.
All right, let me end this shit.
You ever see that one?
Allegedly.
The little redheaded kid on YouTube. He fucking gets a interview with on news, I guess. News lady asks him a question, and he grabs the remote, the mic, and he goes, apparently, apparently. Fucking little kid. Everybody uses that as a meme now. In like their vlogs, when someone says apparently. Apparently.
Oh, you kids and your vlogs.
Vlogs.
Some of them are funny.
Sounds like a virus, like a disease. Vlog. That's what I gave her.
The joint committee.
All right, we're out.
Signing off. Be safe.
Yes.
Stay alive.
See you later.
Stay hydrated. It's hot.
See you later.
Yeah. Stay alive. Peace. Be safe.
Hey, wait. I got one more thing to say. See you later.
Yeah. See you later.
End of session. The Joint Committee thanks you for listening.